It being 5 o'clock, the Lafourche Parish Council meeting of April 25th, 2017 is hereby called to order. Ms. Carleen, roll call, please.
Mr. Jeff. Mr. Groh is out of town on a work emergency. Mr. Melvin.
Here.
Mr. Bourgeois.
Here.
Mr. Pearlin.
Here.
Mr. Oten.
Here.
Mr. LaFont is running late. Mr. Lorraine.
Here.
And Mr. Cantrell.
Absent.
Okay.
All right, if everyone would please rise, well, Mr. Aaron Bo Melvin will lead us in invocation, followed by Mr. Lorraine will lead us in the pledge.
Lord in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chair. Yes, sir. I'll move on that. We have a second? Second by Ms. Posio, all in favor?
Wait, I got a question. I just want to know who would be going into executive session.
I know the DA, Mr. Morvant, and the ADA, Ms. Ogeron, is going in with the council.
Is Mr. Lassane going in?
Please, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
I would like to have someone, since we can't is not here, to represent the administration and on this matter.
Mr. Lassane, are you willing? Okay.
Some information on it, because I've also, the one that asked that be placed on the special agenda, and I'm not a big fan of unanimous, those of you that know me well, but only in times where I think there's urgency and it's an urgent matter, so I would like someone from the administration to be present, because there are issues that need to be discussed, and I would like to have information ahead of us.
Okay.
So I would appreciate that.
Okay, so all in favor of going into executive session? Yes, sir.
Can we have someone represent Public Works too?
Public Works?
Public Works Department, Mr. Barnes
not
is
here.
right here.
No.
Can't have a department head represent Public Works.
Negative, he's on vacation.
All right, I just think it's fair that the Public Works person be here for this.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, 0. 7, 0, 2. Okay, so yeah, joining us in executive session is going to be the DA and the ADA.
Also, Mr. Mike is going to come in, I believe he's going to come in with us. He's
Mike's gone, Mr.
litigation.
Mr. Lassane's gone, the councilmen are gone, and woman, and I believe that's it. And folks, just to let you guys know, we're going into executive session. That means we have to discuss some sensitive material that's not for public consumption. So we'll be in that conference room here for a few minutes. So bear with us, please. All right, an executive session pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 4217 Alpha 2. United States Environmental Protection Agency Region 6 in the matter of Lafourche Parish Government docket number CWAO 62015XXXX. Mr. Jones, can you add to this?
Yeah. Move to reconvene.
Oh, yeah, please.
Move.
Can we get a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Reconvened. Mr. Jones?
All right. I'd like to make a motion that we hire Axe Administration to look at Portage, Hankel, and Johnson, and Mike McGee, a law firm, to handle this situation.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-0-2.
as correction with that, Michael G. to find or
Exactly.
research. Yeah.
All right, thank you, DA.
What about quoting Safer Johnson? No.
That's his firm.
Okay.
All right, can we get a motion to resume? By Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Bourgeois. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we're going back to Section A, Alpha. Approval of minutes. Number one, motion to accept the minutes of the April 5th, 2017 special session. Can we get somebody to move? Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Lorraine. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702. Item number two. Is this one being deferred?
Yes, please, somebody needs to defer.
You move?
I'll move to defer.
Can we get a second? Second by Mr. Lorraine. We're going to defer item two, the motion to accept the minutes of the April 11, 2017 regular session.
That was Mr. Melvin.
Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Lorraine. Section B, proclamations. Number three, Parish President James Cantrell to present a proclamation recognizing the winners from a drawing contest that was held across Lafourche Parish schools that addressed underage drinking.
Miss Estes, take care of that.
Good evening. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. We really appreciate the attendance and for each of you coming out on a school night. I know it's kind of tough sometimes. But before we get started, I wanted to recognize a few special guests that we have with us. We want to thank Miss Quandra Charles. She's with the Office of the Governor. She's a project director with the Office of Drug Policy. If she would please stand up. Thank you. And Miss Amber Slater, she's with our Office of Behavioral Health. She's the LAPFS program manager as well. Thank you so much for coming. And the Prevention Partnership team who coordinated all this, put this all together. If y'all would all stand up, we'd like to thank y'all for coming as well and all your work. So we did this presentation last year and it was really effective. Everybody enjoyed it. We're going to go ahead and display each of the children's artwork. And Miss Jackie will go up to the front. She has a little set of awards. So we'll call each child up one by one. And we'll display your artwork on the projector for everyone to see. And for any of you that want to take pictures or, go up and take a picture, that's fine. And then at the end, when all the children are up, stay up whenever I'll call you. We'll take a group photo with our council president as well as our parish administrator and the team. All righty. So our first grand prize winner is Celie Krause. If she could please come up. Congratulations. And just stay up. Next we have Caleb Ciano, a first place winner. And their artwork is great. That's why we want to display it. We want everybody to see it. Next is Sarah Ciano, first place. Isabella Hanley, first place. Taylor Boudreau, first place. I'm gonna slow down. They told me I'm going too fast. Go ahead. Okay, I think we caught up. All right, I'm gonna slow down. Okay, Brianna Pellegrin, first place winner. Taylor Cowgan, first place winner. Riley Galliano, second place winner. Ella Alamon, second place winner. Braylon Rodriguez, second place winner. Keegan Griffin, second place winner. Sonia Giat, second place winner. Aubrey Petrie, third place winner. Kimberly Zamora, honorable mention winner. Michelle Leeret, honorable mention winner. Brittany Zamora, honorable mention winner. And last but not least, Landon Arsenault, honorable mention winner. So on behalf of the parish president who couldn't be here tonight, he wanted to congratulate each and every one of you. And he put together a proclamation that he wanted me to read on his behalf. So I'll read this, and then the parish administrator and the chairman of the council will come down and take a group photo with you guys. Whereas the parish of Lafourche is committed to recognizing all individuals for their life achievements, especially the talents of our youth. And whereas the Prevention Partnership with Lafourche Parish Government creates awareness and implements prevention policies that help high-risk youth and their families. And whereas a drawing contest to address underage drinking was held across Lafourche Parish schools, and the winners were chosen and placed in the 2017 calendar, with 13 winners and 4 honorable mentions. In witness thereof, I do hereunto set my signature and have caused to be affixed the official seal of the Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, on this 25th day of April, 2017. Congratulations, everyone. Jackie, in the middle with a gray jacket. Gray jacket in the middle. Tommy, go in the middle with Miss Jackie. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you.
Great work. Outstanding. No, absolutely. Thank you all for bringing them. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, the next item, number 4, Parish President James Cantrell to present a proclamation proclaiming May 7th through May 13th as National Women's Lung Health Week.
I'll go ahead and read it. Whereas the parish of Lafourche is committed to supporting efforts to raise awareness surrounding health risks for all citizens through prevention and health education, and whereas every 8 minutes a woman in the U.S. loses her battle with lung cancer, and whereas lung cancer is the #1 killer of women and men in the U.S., and whereas advocacy and increased awareness will result in screening and early detection for people with lung cancer that will ultimately save lives. And whereas public support for research funding will result in better treatment and early detection methods. And whereas Lafourche is a national initiative led by the American Lung Association to fight against lung cancer. Now therefore, James Cantrell, President of the Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, hereby designates the second full week in May as National Women's Lung Health Week throughout the parish and encourages all residents of Lafourche to learn more about lung cancer risk factors and screening options. In witness thereof, he sets his signature and has caused to be affixed the official seal of the Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, on this 25th day of April. Is there anyone here to accept this? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Section C, presentations and/or updates. Being none, moving on to Section D, engineers, architects reports. Any tonight? Yep, the projector works. Name and address for the record, please.
Sandy Guidry with Angela at Picciola, 15511 East Main Street, Cutoff. I'll be real quick. We've got two of them. The Parla Rose Pump Station, sea level is ahead of schedule. The pumps, they're probably about a month ahead of schedule. We've got a couple of pictures of the construction. See the structure going up, the parking lot's there, the base structure, all the sheet piles are driven. The pumps should be coming in probably about the middle of May. Like I said, they are about a month ahead of schedule, so it's moving along nicely. And the second one is Highway 308 in Golden Meadow, the road and drainage. We received bids on April 5th. We had 3 bidders. Our budget was right around $652,000. The low bid came in from Huey Stockstill, and it was right under $595,000. So that one came in under bid. And this is a resolution on tonight's agenda to, we recommend approving, accepting this low bid from Huey Stockstill. Any questions?
Mr. Lorraine?
Yes. How long we been working on that project on Highway 308? That's,
It's been a
that's-
few years.
how long?
It's been a few years.
A few years. And that's funding is 100% from CDBG.
Correct.
Right? Zero from the parish council.
Correct.
And we're also gonna raise the road there.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty good. I've been waiting for that a long time. And I'm not afraid to see it. It's in front of my house. I won't have to wash my car as often. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Nooney?
Yes, Andy, just a quick question. Any update on phase 2, the Rose flood wall?
We're probably, I would guess, about 50% through the design phase of the pump station. The phase 1, which was the flood wall and the road, that one is completely done. Retainage has been paid, so that project is, phase 1 is completely done. Phase 2 is just gonna be the T-Bois pump station, and we're looking at options to double that capacity of those pumps. So we're good halfway through the design phase of that one.
Okay, thanks.
Any other engineers, architects, reports?
That's it. Thank you.
Dustin Rabley representing T. Baker Smith, 1100 South Acadia Road, Thibodaux. I have a couple projects for you tonight. The first one is going to be West Side Drainage Improvement Project. As previously reported, that project is currently advertising. We had a mandatory pre-bid meeting April 12th. We had 9 contractors attend, so that's a pretty good number. The scheduled bid opening is going to be May 2nd at 10:30 a.m. As far as action items to continue moving this forward is we are going to issue an addendum tomorrow morning on this or tonight. And then just attend the bid opening and review the bids and make a recommendation to the board. Any questions on that one? All right, next project I have is Waverly Road. We've received the signed contracts from the administration. We've signed them, we've returned them for them to record and further process them. However, early last week, we did meet with the administration and just kind of discuss the scope and some things that they would be looking for. One of the things they wanted was, there is a bridge on the corner of Talbot and Waverly. They would like to see a design that doesn't necessarily repair that bridge as much as maybe we could push something through there to eliminate the bridge. And I think that's a great path forward. So we're going to go ahead and work on both those things beginning now. Just action items to keep y'all up to date with what's going on. Wait for the finalized contracts. However, in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and start setting everything up to do our hydraulic analysis with the survey, because we don't want to install sufficient drainage today. What we have to do is install sufficient drainage for years from today. So we're not still dealing with this in the future. And then also we'll go ahead and contact the sub-consultant, who'll be Terracon, and get the geotech aspect of this moving as well. Any questions on that one?
Dustin, on the soil bore testing, you're gonna do it in spot sections from the bridge all the way back?
I don't remember how many they were going to take, but you're probably looking at 6, 7, or 8, just to make sure that we capture all the different scenarios in there. Because some parts of the ditch are a little bit worse than others. So, next project I have, Cyprian Pump Station. Early last week, we met with the administration as well on this, and we were able to agree on a conceptual design to move this forward, and also the scope of the project. We're going to go ahead and transition from that conceptual phase, the preliminary phase. I will tell you that this is going to require an amendment to our agreement. Again, unfortunately, the current agreement that we have, this is really out of the scope of what we're doing. Prior to this, we were just going to provide assistance to do an in-house rehab project on the pump, but this is going to be a new pump station where we do a design and let a contractor handle it. Just some action items on this. The permit to DNR in the Corps has already been submitted. In fact, it's on public notice. I think we have about 10 days left. To my knowledge, before I left here, we had not received any negative comments about the project, and I wouldn't have anticipated any anyway. We did place the call to, there is a pipeline in proximity to that station. I had reached out to NGL Crude Terminals. They actually tried returning my call just a few minutes ago. So I'm going to go ahead and coordinate that with them, because we really are close to that line, and there's a few things we need to just get clear on. We'll continue the preliminary design, and we'll submit that amendment to the administration for review and for your approval this week or next. And this, I'm not going to be able to rotate it, I apologize, but essentially you're going to have a pump station that's probably very similar to the Parlor Rose one, 3 48-inch pumps, and it's more or less going to go right on top of where the existing station is. Okay. Any questions on this? Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Bill.
Dustin, I know you've been involved in this for a little while. Thank you very much. I know we started off with, when I first sat in this chair a year ago, it was going to be a new pump station. Then we sat and talked, and I know the administration made some changes. They were going to do a rehab. It was going to be, instead of 3.5 million, it was going to maybe do it with $1 million. Now we got a new pump station. Could you please just connect the dots for me, please?
So, if you want to talk about the history of this pump.
Just real brief.
Yeah, we got to go back to the
Couple
previous administration. They wanted a very simple hydraulic pump station design, which is nothing close to what you see up there, okay? When this administration came in, I knew that they were not going to be very favorable to hydraulic pumps, so we just shut it down until we could meet with them. At the time, he had thought that he could, I don't want to speak for the administration, but it was my impression that they thought they could do a rehab project on this pump station and yet still get the efficiency and the capacity out of what was there. That's not exactly the case. And, some of this, the DPW is probably very taxed. I'm sure James would tell you that. So the decision was made to, instead of just utilizing TBS for assistance in the rehab, let's just go ahead, let a new contract for a very simple but functional pump station.
Right, oh, and I'm all for this, because it drains my district. It sits in Mr. Bourgeois', but it drains mine, so I'm all in favor of this new one.
Yeah, believe me, I'd
Thank
be
you.
very happy when this is over with.
Let the record show that Councilman LaFawn arrived at 5:58.
Yes, sir.
With hurricane season approaching, a little over a month away, what's a realistic timeline we're looking at on Cyprian?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, we have to get with the geotech company. The soil boring log did not come back very favorably. I don't think on our end, though, the design is gonna take an excessive amount of time, and you know, as far as the construction, it's not gonna be done before hurricane season. You know, and so part of what we're having to do too is, so to build this pump station, we have to get rid of the old one. So we're also working with the parish on how are we gonna pump this down and maintain drainage for those residents and businesses in that area. And we do have a way to do that.
Okay. Do you have just like a rough estimate of a timeline or something? I mean, a lot of people are concerned, and I mean, I understand these things take time. I understand the pumps themselves aren't arriving until late June, early July. You know, they're being ordered and manufactured. I'm just trying to get a rough timeline. If things fall into place right now, they move along at a normal pace, when do you think it'd be up and running?
Yeah, I would like to see us advertise in this project August, September. That way, you know, we could go into construction during the winter and we don't necessarily have to worry about a hurricane coming.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I have one other project that I'm gonna start reporting on. I've spoken about this in the past. This is I don't know that you really call it a grant as much as it is a program, but this is a drainage improvement project that will encompass everything kind of between East 39th and East 94th Street, down the bayou. Turnkey, this is probably a $6.7 million capital improvement project for the parish. We have one last hurdle to clear for this award. And that's just to make sure that this program within DOTD continues to get funded. And all indications are in House Bill 2 that it will be. So I've done everything I can, meeting with everyone that I can, to just speak of the importance of it. However, when House Bill 2 is finalized, you know, we'll be able to announce that Lafourche Parish has won this award, I guess you could say. So.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
So Dustin, you're actually saying you lobbied for the parish? Is that?
I would
loosely
say I
on-
did everything I could to ensure
Thank
that
you, I
I get
appreciate
this
it.
project.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
That's all I want to say. So,
Any other questions?
yeah, that's you.
All right, Dustin, thank you very much, sir.
I just want to thank him because you have done a lot of work on this project, and this is the biggest drainage issue I have. It goes from my district all the way to Daniel. So thank you for the hard
Yeah,
work.
and actually, you know, and when we get this, there's a lot of people that need to be thanked, but I better mention Drainage District 1 and the leadership that Mr. Albert Guidry, you know, they've been very, very supportive. This has taken over 2 years to get to where we are today. So, and it wouldn't happen if it wasn't for them. So,
Outstanding.
cool. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Dustin. Any other engineers, architects?
Good evening. Heather Klingman with Duplantis Design Group, 314 East Bayou Road. We should have a presentation. Okay, just go through a couple of projects. First project is the Layton Pump Station. This is a hazard mitigation project. Our upcoming deadline is 30% plans, which are due end of this week, so that's on 4/30. So we'll be submitting those. We submitted the very first part of the submittal was the hydraulics and hydrology study. We submitted that on January 27th. We haven't heard peep from GOSEP or FEMA yet. I send them a friendly reminder every now and then to see if they have any comments or anything, but just haven't heard anything yet. But that's not really uncommon. These things just take a while, but we're going to continue to go through the process and again, make our next submittal on the 30th and continue to move on down the line. The next two projects, Parish-wide Pump Station Project and Timberland, these are also HMGP. Parish-wide, we finally got all the permits in hand from DNR and the Corps, so we're gonna get those construction drawings finalized to go to bidding. Timberland, we're still waiting, went too far. Timberland, we are still waiting on the Corps permit. Okay, this thing's got a little bit of a lag here. We're still waiting on the Corps permit, but as soon as we get that, which I can't imagine that it would take, much longer than another month or so, we can do the same thing, finalize construction documents and get it out to bids. Next project is Galliano Bridge repair. We've got some progress. It's certainly not as quick as I would like it, or I know as Mr. Lorraine or any of the residents down the bayou would like to see this, but they did get the bulkhead poured along the new sheet pile wall, and what they've been doing, you can see here, is they're forming up for the new apron. They had one issue. They ended up cutting through some rebar. They did something that they weren't supposed to do while we weren't out there, and they've actually been spending probably about the last week trying to fix that. But they are moving along. I think probably end of this week, early next week, they'll be doing the next pour on the apron. Next project is, this thing is not cooperating with me today. Okay, dog it. Okay, Diplomat Way and Eau Claire Drive. The front section from Talbot back about halfway is just about completed. They're going to be putting the fence up end of this week on the house side of the drainage ditch. So that's about completed, and then they've actually, you can see the left-hand side is one of the completed portion. On the right-hand side is the next section at the back that they're going to be working on. They've just kind of degrassed everything, staked out the areas where the bottom of the channel is going to be, the top of the channel is going to be, so we could just kind of make sure that everything was working out the way we had thought it would during design. And so they'll be starting on that probably next week and really starting to excavate, muck out, and get going on that section.
Money-wise,
Yes.
are we on target with the budget?
Yes, sir, we are. In fact, I think we might be a little bit below what the budget was, and I had sent you some information, I guess, last month. There's even a little bit of money not in the actual construction contract, but from the budget. I think there was about $20,000 left over in the overall budget that if you want, we can sit down and look at if you want to add some riprap somewhere, or, look at what we can do with that. We do have
Probably
that.
look at riprap around the pipeline.
Yeah, so we can certainly, I'd be more than happy to sit down and look at that with you. Streetlight permitting, Mr. LaFont, we talked to DOTD, the permit lady that we deal with at DOTD, because at the last meeting, you had mentioned that you thought someone had asked them about it, and they did. Mr. Kevin Belanger with South Central Planning had called and talked to them about that. So he did call, but what she had relayed to us is that I guess they're looking at it, but she said that there's nothing that's been directed down to them to change the procedure that they require. So apparently the conversations are being had, but it hasn't resulted in any changes just yet. So, but it's better than nothing.
Nothing on your fault, but I just think it's donkey backwards. I'm gonna use that word.
I don't disagree with you.
We lighten the streets for the state, and we got to pay $850 just to get a permit to put the light up. It's ridiculous.
I agree with you 100%.
Donkey backwards.
And the last one, it's not going to work, or it's going to skip to the end. The last one is the Hazard Mitigation Grant Home Elevation Project. Here we go. I knew that was going to happen. It's the home elevation project. Just to go through it real quick, we do have one additional resident who is interested. She's working on getting a loan for her 25% of the cost. So we're kind of just waiting until she has the money and everything in hand, and then she can go ahead and move forward with her elevation. And that's it. Any questions?
Mr. Lorraine?
Yes, that project was supposed to be 120 days,
Yes.
and we're already 42 days over.
They are, is that, I'm trying to, it's about, 42 days over. Yes,
And
sir.
how much time we expected to, before it's finished?
It shouldn't be that much longer. Now, look, whenever they're out there, well, I should say whenever they're not out there, I mean, Mr. Lorraine, we're calling them every day, telling them, why aren't you there? If you're not there, what's going on? Why aren't you there? So it's always something, it's just,
This is a
some
prime
excuse.
example. The parish needs to be careful on who they give work to, and I know it's a bid process.
Yeah.
But a lot of them contractors take advantage. Maybe a contractor would have went higher than this group and would have been finished by now.
Yeah.
They can't ask for any better weather than what we've been having.
No, you're right, they can't.
And I mean, I pass there constantly, and people have been patient, but they're running out of patience.
I think,
And
if
you
I
know
were
who's
them,
getting
I'd-
it, huh?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know.
But, you know, I really don't care about the $500 a day, in
We
which
want it done.
I'm gonna care about it.
Yeah.
I mean, they ain't gonna get an extra day with me, I can tell you that right now. And probably not this council, I would hope. But I would prefer to see it fixed. I mean, if I'm a contractor and I'm running behind, I'd have 7, 8, 10 people working there, not just 1 or 2. Beautiful weather, nothing's being poured, tide was too high. I mean, I've heard all kind of excuses, but the people are starting to get impatient.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I've said, each side of the bayou needs each other, and that's a prime example.
I agree, and like I said, we're pushing them anything that we can do, just trust we are pushing them.
I would just ask that, I hope they don't come for no extra time.
Well, we've been telling them since day one, because, we kind of had an inkling of what was going to happen from the very beginning. So we made certain that they understood that, look, if you're going to ask for time, you've got to ask for it with each pay request every month. And they haven't requested anything, and we've told them in emails, in writing, that, look, as of now, you don't have any excuse for additional days, and the council or the parish does have the ability to assess liquidated damages.
Because the way I see things are going right now, they were supposed to do this in 120 days. You're already at 42 days over.
Yes,
You're
sir.
probably gonna be another 30 or 40 days over. You're gonna pass up the 120 days that you were supposed to complete the job.
Yeah,
I mean, that's totally ridiculous.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Anything else? Any other questions?
I just got something real quick, just to reiterate what Daniel said. It's actually becoming a joke on Facebook, that job. I'm gonna read you a comment. Somebody put,
Be careful on Facebook, Jerry.
No, it says, it's more exciting watching paint dry than watching them work on the Galliana Bridge. That's how often they're there. That's how sad it is.
Yeah.
Now, is it them doing the work? Did they subcontract it out? I don't know.
Volute is a general contractor, but I can tell you Volute's not doing the work. It's LeBro Brothers who's actually doing the work. Volute's subcontracting everything out to LeBro, which they can do.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that legally or from a contractual standpoint. It's just, I think they've had some issues on other projects that y'all, that particular subcontractor. Like I said, we're pushing them and doing everything that we can to push them. But unfortunately, trust me, I wish I could force them to go out there and do something. But, the only thing that we have in our disposal as far as pushing them to do it is liquidated damages. They know that for every day that they don't have this thing finished, it's $500, clock's ticking off of their contract amount.
What's the possibility in the future, on the future contracts, putting that to $2,500 or $2,000?
You can set liquidated damages really at whatever you want. At some point, there can get into some legal issues. So if you really start pushing it, to that extent, I would probably get the DA's opinion on it. But you can set it. The only issue is that you have to. It can't just be arbitrary as far as what the cost is. It has to be true delays or damages associated with the delays for the contract. But yeah, that's part of the contract documents. $500 a day is pretty standard. Probably maybe a little on the high side of standard. But it's something that's set up, yeah. It's something that's set up in the specs when you go out to bid on a project.
Right, okay.
So.
Mr. Bourgeois.
Yeah, if this is the way, I'm sorry, I don't care who the sub is, Volute's the contractor that we have a contract with, can we deem them as a non-responsible bidder for future projects?
You can, that's one thing you can do, but again, sometimes that gets into a slippery slope from a legal standpoint. So it's certainly, if you have a record of them not being responsible or responsive on future projects, you can. You can deem that. They could come back and they could argue and hire an attorney and say, and fight it, which some contractors do. Some contractors, if they know that it's an issue and they don't, they don't worry about it, then they'll let it go. But that certainly is a tool that's at the parish's disposal.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, no more questions. Thank you very much.
much.
He'll address us in a little while, but I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Louisiana State Senator Brett Allen. He just arrived here, so thank you, sir, for being here. Your
Joe
floor.
Piciola with Piciola and Associates, 115 Piciola Parkway in Cutoff. All right. Where do I point it at? There we go. All right. Same problem. All right. On our road sales tax 2 project, 4K drainage, West 11th Street, contractor is about 98% complete. If you look out there right now, everything looks really good. All the work is completed except for a few punch list items. I imagine probably later this week or early next week we'll have a final inspection on this job to close it out. Also on our road sales tax district 24L project, which is roadway and drainage improvements, I don't have any slides, but we've done our preliminary engineering. We're surveying right now. We've ridden the streets with the contractor, the councilman in each district, and we're working with coordinating the street list with DPW. All right, on Coastal Pump Station, contractor Circle LLC. The notice to proceed was issued on April 10th. They are out there working right now, demolishing the old pump station. They are submitting equipment submittals to us for review, pumps, sheet pile, coating systems, etc. And we're reviewing that right now, so the project is starting to progress and is ongoing. And let's see if this on the Leeville boat launch, we met with the contractor yesterday. It's Thomas E. Construction of Thibodaux. We're issuing a notice to proceed for Monday, May 1st. A lot of the equipment the material is on order, the pavilion's on order, the wharfing system is on order. I do expect them to start moving in sometime next week to start doing some preliminary construction work and full-blown construction to start in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Any questions?
LaFont?
Hey, on the West 11th Street project, you know how far the right-of-way goes out? You and I had discussed about the landowner. I saw I'm getting calls from residents because they put pilings. Their concern is, and my concern is, and talking to Dan just now, we can maybe go talk to him. Once that project is complete, if he puts a fence right there, I don't think it's going to give us enough room to maintain that ditch. Do we have a right-of-way on there?
The parish has a right-of-way there to maintain the ditch, okay? And I don't know exactly how wide it is, Jerry. I don't remember offhand, but we can get you that information. But I do believe where he put his fence posts up is inside the right-of-way. So I think that somebody from DPW needs to talk to Mr. Jerry, or I think it's his son-in-law.
That's Daniel's best buddy, so I think Daniel could.
About the placement of the fence, so that in the future, you're right, the parish could go in and maintain the ditch, cut the grass, whatever.
Thank you.
Mr. Lorraine?
So what about the fishing pier and the pavilion? They should be starting up soon?
Yes, they expect to move on site sometime next week to start preliminary excavation work, and then they're gonna start driving piles right after that. The wharf should show up while they're driving piles. So the plan is to drive the piles and place the wharf sections as they go from land to the water.
So we should see some kind of construction within 2 weeks.
Yes.
Been a long, hard-fought battle, brother, to
Yes.
get that funding.
I agree.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
That's it, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other engineers, architects? All right, moving on. Section E, Parish President, Department Heads, Directors, or Managers, Reports, Presentations, and our updates. I know Mr. Barnes was on here, but he is out of the net. So deferring May 9th. Bourgeois, you have something on here?
Yeah, I want to defer it to May 9th as well.
Okay. All right, Section F, questions for the administration, Session 1. Any questions? Moving right along. Section G, council reports, presentations, updates, and our questions. Session 1, Mr. Bogalo was he had a presentation prepared, but he is ill, so he had to leave. You have something, Daniel?
Yeah, I just want to let the council know that I was able to attend Lafourche Parish Public Library last night, and they discussed their budget. They discussed the routers. They didn't have to purchase the routers because they were in the agreement with the company that they bought the computers or whatever. So that's why we're going to rescind that. And they discussed, I think I said the budget, and I was the lonely councilman there, so I just wanted to let y'all know. And thank you.
Thank you. Section H, legal advisor reports. None. Section I, public wishing to address the council. We moved Mr. Allen here because we didn't know about your timeline. So would you like to acknowledge that,
Yes.
please?
Senator Brent, I'll have you to approach the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record, Senator Allen, and please remember you have 3 minutes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Brett Allen, District 21. I represent parts of Lafourche, Terrebonne, all of St. Mary, and part of Iberia. I wanted to come here today. I understand that you passed a resolution in opposition to one of my bills, and I'd like to come here and make some clarification about exactly what that bill does. In the Constitution now, there is embedded a competitive projects property tax exemption program. It applies to corporate headquarters, distribution centers, data service centers, research and development operations, software equipment firms. It requires all 5 of the parish bodies that receive funds, the parish, municipalities, school boards, sheriffs, and assessors, to all agree. The negotiation is either done by, if you let it, the Economic Development Board, or in light of you wanting to do it yourself, it would be negotiated by the parish government. There are some other caveats that I won't bore you with, but we thought that that might be a good avenue for also the offshore vessels. The ability for you to negotiate, it's strictly a permissive thing. You can negotiate with them if you want. It allows you to negotiate payment in lieu of taxes, if you so deem. The reason that I thought it may be a good thing into the future, as you know, or you may know, there is a bill filed right now to do away with the offshore vessel tax credit. $55 million worth of state spending last year that went to reimburse the boat owners for the taxes that they paid to the parish government. And that's statewide, that's not just your portion of it. If any or all of that, and you may have heard that we have a little bit of a budget crisis in Baton Rouge. If any or all of that money goes away, we're very fearful, other parishes are very fearful that that would also, that may move some boats. Boats are moving now. Regardless of what's been said, I checked the records with Chet Chasson. He tells me currently there are 150 boats in Fouchon. And at the heyday, you had 450 boats. 300 boats went somewhere, and they're not there anymore. St. Mary, Terrebonne have all experienced the same decline in the amount of boats that are there and parked or gone somewhere. We have aerial photos of Gulfport showing that that there are boats stacked 3 deep over there. We're not so much concerned if they go from parish to parish, but we are very concerned when they start leaving our state altogether. That being said, I would be happy to answer any questions. You know, I wish before you voted on that, before you had addressed whether or not to oppose my bill, and I have no problem with you opposing my bill. I really don't. That's your prerogative. But I wish that I would have been at least given the courtesy to come and had a phone call or let me know that you were doing that, so I could have come and maybe explained and shed some light on what I was doing. The bill that you really should be opposed to, that myself and Senator Chabert will probably be the point of the spear to try to defeat, is the one that does away or reduces the credits altogether. That I'm very fearful would gut not only the boats, but the industries and the jobs that are also allowed with them. And I have not tried to pit one parish against the other as was suggested in testimony the other day. I strictly want to try to give the parishes another option to be able to negotiate with the boat owners in case something happens to the credit in the future. And without this legislation, you would not have that option. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Sir, I want to thank you for accepting my invitation to come out tonight, because after I read your comments in the paper, I think it was a comment article, or could have been a Times article, I don't recall right now, but you had some statements that contradicted what was said here at the council meeting. So that's why I appreciate you coming out tonight.
And I appreciate the invitation.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for the senator?
Yeah, I want to say something.
Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Senator.
Not a problem.
How long have you been in office?
5 years.
How many times have you approached us, this council, or the previous council?
I came when I was running.
When you were running?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I was the one that spearheaded to oppose that bill because I don't really think it's a good bill. I still don't think it's a good bill.
That's appreciate
our differences. And the other bill is even worse. You said it. But my question to you would be, basically, I think what's happening is you passing the buck to the parishes. That's the way I read it. Now, whether I'm reading it right or wrong, I don't know, but that's how I see it. But anyway, we have 3 municipalities in the parish. So who would actually negotiate that with the vessel owners? The parish, or the parish and the municipalities?
No, the parish would take the lead on it. If you have an economic development board, they would have the first option unless you decided to take control yourself. And that laundry list of people that I said would have to all agree and pass resolutions to support it. If any one of them does not support it, then it doesn't get passed.
So it doesn't go anywhere?
It doesn't go anywhere. It's strictly a permissive bill. You can use it if you want to use it. It's another tool in your toolbox. It's not meant to, listen, other parishes would like to, if things go south, other parishes would like the ability to try to keep the boats in their parish. And I'm sure that you would also like the ability to keep the boats in your parish.
Well, what's going to happen if this bill, well, it passed, probably, you can say it passed, the other ones may pass, may not, but what's going to happen is going to take a poor port somewhere along the coast that's not collecting as many millages as other parishes, and they're going to make it rich. We got, just in Lafourche, the highest millages in the whole state of Louisiana. School board picks up probably more by themselves than most parishes as a whole. So that boat has a wheel, he has a captain, and he has a motor. I don't think it's going to take any effect until 2 years, but there are going to be some decisions made by some of these companies. They're not going to continue. If they can go somewhere else and get it a lot cheaper, they're going to drive that boat, because most of the oil companies, when they hire your boat, they pay mob and demob, most of them. And they look for the general area as close as it can be. But looking at all this, once it goes through, probably it will go through, whatever you can do. But I just didn't agree with that bill, and I still don't. And I thank you for coming.
And no, listen, I respect your right to disagree with any legislation that I put forward. I would just ask that in the future, I be giving the opportunity to come and present my side of the story. And I would urge you to pass a resolution opposing the bill that's going to do away with the credits altogether.
We got it right there. And by the way, you can reach me too at 985-438-4122.
I pass on my property down the bay all the time.
Yeah, I know you very well.
Yeah.
Big landowner.
We have an acre or two, yes.
Yes. Oh, more than that. But anyway, thank you.
That being said, I appreciate the opportunity to come and explain my side. I would hope y'all cooperation in opposing the bill by J.P. Morrell to do that. Listen, the reality is, in the near future, we're going to have some tough decisions to make. I don't think a whole lot of revenue measures are going to get out the House, which means, per the Constitution, we're going to have to start making some budget cuts, and some pretty severe budget cuts. Next year, when the penny falls off, the extra penny that was added last year falls off, we're looking at a $1.4 billion deficit. And there may be some real decisions, and your tax credit and the credit for inventory may look very attractive to a lot of legislators. And we'll have choices to make between whether we fund that, the credits that are out there, or we fund Nichols University. Now, those are decisions I don't want to make. I'm a very big supporter of Nichols. I'm a very big supporter of everything you do here in Lafourche Parish, and St. Mary Parish, and Lafourche Parish that I represent. But the decisions are going to have to be made about where to make these cuts. And I'm scared to death this becomes very attractive. J.P. Morrell, who is the chairman of the Revenue and Fisc, which is the author of the bill to do away with the credits, thinks that he can much better use that $55 million in New Orleans. And they would very much like to take it from the boat owners and the credit and use it elsewhere. And look, it's just going to be me and Narby and maybe 3 or 4 other coastal senators standing in the gap trying to defend this thing. Hopefully we're successful convincing the governor, even if it gets through, to veto it. I think, and we've taken enough tick sheets, I think we can defeat it on the Senate floor, but it's his committee. He's going to get this out. And the more it's talked about, the more attractive it becomes. So I guess I'm here in front of you saying, help us help you. I will do everything I can to defeat that bill and protect the credits for as long as we can. But I'm afraid some very hard decisions are going to have to be made in the very near future. And I'm scared of the outcome of a lot of the things that we may have to do.
Senator, getting back to Senate Bill 61, yours, my main concern is the statement you made earlier stating that you're not trying to create competition between parishes. I think it does that very thing. So basically my fear is this. Okay, the economy's slow right now. There's boats that are tied up right now. Come January 1st, if they're not working, they're on the hook to pay the inventory tax. So St. Mary Parish comes in and says, I tell you what, Edison Schwest, you got 18 boats tied up, bring them over here. I won't charge you nothing. That leaves us holding the bag, you know.
And I appreciate, but there are other parishes that I represent would very much like the opportunity, if these credits go away, to keep the jobs. They may lose some of the revenue, but they would very much like to keep the jobs. I'm sure you would like to keep the jobs and the boats here. I think every parish would like to do that. This was never proposed by me to pit one parish against the other or to give somebody an undue advantage. It's not. But parishes should have the ability to negotiate to try to keep what business they have there. I stand by that. I appreciate you opposing the bill. I just, in the future, I would like the opportunity to at least make my case before you take opposition to one of my bills.
Absolutely,
and
sir.
I'm willing to come at any time.
We have some more questions. Mr. Bo Melvin.
How you doing, Senator? Thank you for coming.
Sure.
You state that you definitely would like to have some parishes that want to get some of the business, and we're trying to keep the business. We have a port. I understand that St. Mary, which is probably, I guess, the majority of the district, you get $10 million?
I think we're down to about 6 now, but
Okay.
$6 to $10 million.
So y'all get 10 to 6, we get 50, 52.
Correct.
It's my understanding the system was put in place before my time here, and probably before your time.
Before mine, too.
To stop some of the infighting between parishes. If you look at, if you take Blockbuster Video or some big video, small video store, they can play on even keel. If they're taxed, they can get a rebate on what they pay into the system. It's not the giants against the small guys. They're just paying what they have and then getting it back. If you look at the Saints, I'm just going to use the Saints for example. We subsidize the Saints. I don't really go to Saints games, but I like the Saints. But I'm still paying a tax, and some of my tax dollars are going to subsidize the Saints to stay in Louisiana. If this goes away, if your bill does away and the other bill does away with this tax, I'm fearful that we're going to lose, just like if the Saints go away, if the subsidies stop, we're going to lose a lot of boat business, because right now, they are keeping their boats here, and they're getting a rebate on the taxes they pay for their vessels per vessel.
Correct.
They lose it, what are they getting? So you see, so to me, it's not a perfect system, but it would definitely cause some havoc. And I agree, there's some things that need to change in the state capitol with some things and how things are done and making some cuts. I agree. I just don't know if this is it.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunately the majority rules up there, and if they decide this credit is one of the things they want to take and use money to do other things with, although, several of us vote against it and disagree, it just takes a majority vote to do away with the credit. It takes 2/3 to levy a tax or to do revenue increases, which is a very high mark. But to do away with these credits only takes a majority vote. And I'm scared at some point in time we're going to be the only ones voting no. This really doesn't benefit anything but coastal parishes, and about 60% of the spending goes directly to, of this credit, goes directly to businesses in Lafourche Parish. You've got 41% of your revenue coming from taxing property that has propellers on it.
We have a port in Fouchon that generates a lot of money for the whole state, for everybody.
Second
shares
to
in
none.
that.
We all contributed and put together to try to help firm up that port.
Yes, sir. I agree, but we're just
There's
trying to
capital
keep
outlay and everything else.
we're trying to keep it going as best we can.
And we should. I mean, it is an economic engine like no other. Everybody realizes that. Look, I'm really not standing in front of you trying to steal your boats, but other parishes would like to protect theirs. That's my opinion, and if we'd have talked before, maybe we could have talked, and I'd have taken your consideration, and I would modify or drop the bill. I mean, there's modifications that we can make to it to protect the parishes individually. I don't mind talking about that, but we're not going to do it by just opposing each other. You have to sit and have a conversation.
Thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Bourgeois.
Thank you for coming, Senator.
Sure.
What I want to point out clear, and Mr. Melvin kind of touched on it, and Mr. Lorraine and all of that, the other bill and your bill, either way, Lafourche is not going to gain from either one. We're either, at best, status quo. But if we lose the credit, we're going to lose boats. With your bill, sir, we're going to lose boats because someone's going to make a better deal than us. And that's kind of where we are. And we don't agree on a lot of things on this council, but the one thing that I can say that pretty much all we agree, either one of these bills passes, Lafourche is going to lose boats.
No, I'll disagree with you to a certain extent. If part of the credit goes away and there's a threat of really losing boats, you would have the opportunity with my bill to negotiate a deal to keep them, maybe at a lesser revenue, but you would have an opportunity to compete with not just other parishes in Louisiana, but with Gulfport and Texas and everybody else.
Well, I mean, it didn't work out very well for the fruit companies. Dole and United Fruit Companies, Chiquita, moved to Gulfport. They're not coming back. The film industry, they had a tweaked tax thing. And if you go in Elmwood, if you drive Elmwood very much, everything's for rent. Go up and down Edwards Avenue, Mounds, Al Davis, everyone. It used to be full of trucks. They were, I know because I built the parking lots for them. Mm-hmm. The places are for rent, for sale, takeover, discounted rates. I mean, I'm just saying, we give away tax credits, we give away business. I mean, we get rid of tax credits. It seems that we get rid of business.
But the credit the credit is state spending. This credit is state spending. And I'm fearful that they'll want to use this state spending to go do something else besides the credit. What's our plan B? What's the plan B if J.P. Morrell is successful in either doing away or amending his bill to reduce the amount that goes back to the boat owners. What's your plan B? We need to start thinking about what that plan B is. Look, I'm supportive. I want to keep the boats here. I want to keep them in all these coastal parishes. Lafourche is a gem. I want to support and be behind it also. I have a long history of voting for and supporting the port at every turn. Every time the port's asked us anything, I've been there for them. But I'm fearful, what's the plan B if the credit gets reduced or goes away? And I'm telling you, that may be a very real threat. I'll fight for it as long as I can, but I can't stop it if the majority of the Senate and the House vote to get rid of it.
Mr. LaFont.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Sure.
Appreciate it. On the first statement I want to make is, I know we didn't go to you, but you didn't come to us. So it's a two-way street. We represent people. I got to represent people all the time. I don't get to talk to everybody. And I'm sure not everybody likes everything I do. But your bill will hurt this parish, whether you want to believe it or not, because you're pitting parishes against each other. You can say you're not, that's not what you meant, but if that's not what you meant, then you need to pull it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, my best friends are one of the biggest boat owners around, right? Fortunate enough, they keep their boats here in Lafourche Parish. And they pay the tax because they want the credit to come back to them and they want the parish to have their money. But what you're doing, if your parish, St. Mary, or has hardly any boats right now, can say, you know what, we're going to go down to 2% because we know Lafourche can't afford to go that low. Guess what? They're going over there for 2%.
There's not the infrastructure there for all those boats.
It's not, but guess what?
There's not
I can go park my boat right offshore of St. Mary's Parish. They don't have to be parked on January 1st. Taxes are they only get filed on the tax where they parked on January 1st at midnight. Am I correct?
That is correct. That's
Straight
my
out of the parish line for 200 miles. If you're within that 200-mile line, you're getting taxed January 1st. I don't care where you're at that 200 line. That parish is where you're getting taxed. Am I correct?
I don't know if it's 200 miles.
It's 200 miles.
Okay.
All right? It's still international waters. So you got a bill that you didn't even know was 200 miles. All right? So we're going to go park this boat. I don't have to go in your dock. I just got to go outside your parish and have my boat there at midnight on January 1st. Or January 31st, midnight. Right? So that's going to cause a lot of trouble between parishes. Lafourche Parish can't afford it. The people of Lafourche Parish are hurting already from the oil field. We're already down. We lost a lot of jobs. Matter of fact, March 16th last year, I lost that job from my best friend's company. I got laid off. It was hard. I'm working 2, 3 jobs right now to support. I got 2 kids in college, right? All you're gonna do is hurt us more. Tonight we're gonna put something on from the floor. I had it written down before I got here to do it. Another thing you said though, you said you took aerial photos of Mississippi. They were stacked 3 deep. Have you ever taken an aerial photo of La Rose? They stacked 10 deep right now. I pass by it every day. It's sickening. So those boats didn't leave. You know why? Because when it's stacked, they only pay 10%.
I'm aware of that.
Okay. So those that were being stacked, we lost 10%. Right? The ones that left, they were being stacked anyway. We had 87 of them in La Rose at one time. We lost 10%. We didn't lose 100%, which we're going to do with your bill. Because if they leave, we're losing 100%. We're not only losing 10%. And it's going to hurt us. So will his. But here's what's going to be the kicker on both y'all bills. When this all started, this tax credit, 17 whatever years ago, there was a law that said that moving vessels offshore couldn't be taxed. Well, the state said, look, let us tax you. We're going to give it back to you in a credit. Are you aware of that?
That was part of the arrangement that was made to settle the lawsuit.
Right. So what's going to happen now is
they were actually suing you and said you didn't have the right to tax the offshore vessels.
And I think if they go to federal court, I think they're going to win that. I think they're going to win that because that's what's going to happen. They're going to get tired and they're going to sue us, and that's what's going to happen to us. We're going to lose that lawsuit. Look, I've been on top of this for a while. I worked for a boat company, and I was trying to protect the boat company and protect the parish. So I'm on top of it. But I just think, you said we didn't go to you, but you didn't come to us. And you represent us. I don't represent you.
I appreciate that.
And that's how.
I didn't come here to argue.
No, I know, but I'm just, and I getting emotional. But in 2015, the amount of taxes we collected from 2015 and what we're gonna collect for the year 2016 is only $100,000 difference.
Overall.
Overall.
But the boats went somewhere.
Yeah, but we only lost $100,000.
Okay.
That's the point I'm trying to make. They left, but all we lost was $100,000. With
Yeah.
your bill, we're gonna lose $50 million. And the people in Lafourche Parish, our school board thinks they hurt now? Jesus. We might have to move to St. Mary's.
I appreciate being here.
All right, Mrs. Esposito.
Yes, ma'am.
Senator, I thank you for coming, and I will apologize to you, because in the future, I'll definitely contact you before voting on any of your bills. I realize you do represent a large area, and I will take it upon myself to contact you in the future. My concern is, when I testified yesterday at the Senate committee, that, and I'll agree with Councilman Lorraine on this, is that I am concerned with it being put in the laps of local government. And as I mentioned yesterday, I am concerned that all of these different entities that are going to be tasked with deciding if a business should be exempt from tax, I'm concerned about their qualifications. I'm concerned about do they have the resources to properly vet, knowing that a tax exemption means that all of these local entities, whether that be the school board or whatever, will not get funding. So I don't know, this is what concerns me greatly about this bill, is I don't know that a lot of people are going to say, yeah, let's get the jobs here, let's give the taxes, let's give away the tax revenue. Then what happens to all of the entities that are dependent upon revenue? So do you have any?
To be clear, my bill does not take away any tax or your right to tax or anything else. It gives you an opportunity to negotiate with another industry that you already have, that you have a right to negotiate with other industries.
But as we're saying, the parish is going to begin to compete against one another, and the industry is going to go to where the best deal is, and so will the jobs go towards where the best deal is. So we may be cutting off our noses to spite our faces. I think it's going to be human nature, especially if individuals don't have the expertise and the experience, and to see the far-reaching effects of lower taxes or tax exemption.
One of the people that would have to agree is one of the people that has the decisions to make right now about who's taxed at what value and whether or not to abate it if they're not working, which is your assessor, along with yourself. This gives you the ability to join in the conversation, if you will,
I understand
about
that.
what you're able to do. And I'll go back to my original statement. What's your plan B if we do
I don't
lose
know, but
credit?
I would hope you could work with our assessor to determine that. I just know people start getting crazy when they get hungry.
Yeah.
And that's what my concern is.
And I've seen this legislature start getting crazy, thinking that they're gonna have to make these cuts.
And you're
And
right.
where are you gonna place them? I mean, we've got a tough job in front of us about what we're gonna do. I mean, and if the majority agree that we cut Nichols some more, or any of the rest of our higher ed, or healthcare, or whatever it is, take money from the disabled to balance the budget, these are the hard decisions that we need to make, and I'm definitely afraid that credit's going to look like easy money to them, low-hanging fruit.
Now, I haven't seen the data, but I understand that there's been data supplied to the governor and the state saying that we actually come out ahead with these credits. Is that in fact data exists?
I have not been given that data, but I will probably use that in defending the credit when it comes up next week. And oh, by the way, that's scheduled to be heard on Monday coming. The J.P. Morrell bill, I
Senate
understand.
Bill 179?
Yes.
And for the record, you definitely will oppose that with us?
Absolutely. I have opposed that every time. They tried the same thing in special session last time. It was only because of the hard work of me and Narby and a few of the representatives that we were able to convince the governor to pull back on that. Otherwise, we would have seen a reduction or a complete elimination of the credit. No, I am 100%, listen, I believe the parish cannot take that kind of hit right now. The boat owners aren't going to sit idly by and be taxed all over the state, what's probably close to $100 million if you add everything up, and not do something. I mean, businesses do what businesses do, and they try to protect their bottom lines as best they can. But I am 100%, that's the bill you should have, that's the bill
And
that we have to oppose.
We are opposing it.
And I would hope that y'all would come out to oppose it, as I understand many other parishes are going to do.
Yes, sir, we will.
Okay.
Mr. Melvin, you got one?
Just one more thing.
Sure.
I understand. I just think, you know, if you're gonna start taking tax credits, why not take the Saints? What's Plan B there? Because, you know, that'll kick an ant pile for
A
you.
lot of legislators believe the same thing.
I mean, the thing
But
is,
you also have $450 million in inventory tax credits that you benefit from. There's credits all over the place, and that's part of the problem. We give away so much money that we don't have enough left to run the government.
well, I'll say like Senator John Kennedy, the state doesn't have a revenue problem, it has a spending problem. So, I mean.
That's easy to say, but when Senate Finance actually has to be one of the entities that has to decide where the cuts go. And when they start rolling in the disabled and the healthcare needs of this state and the higher education that we're going to cut and everything else, it's some pretty hard decisions. Yes, I think there's a lot of embedded things that we need to cut, but when you start talking about $1.4 billion when that penny rolls off next year, and we sunsetted it on purpose to try to spur us into finding a decent source of revenue that we could make up the difference. Listen, this all goes back, and I could talk on and on. This all goes back to when the Stelly plan was given up, and we automatically had an $800 million shortfall in the state revenues that mushroomed over the years. And you know, at the time I supported him, but Bobby Jindal hit it with one-time money and selling things and everything else, and it has snowballed into the mess that we have today. And I don't believe you can come up with $1.4 billion worth of cuts. There's going to have to be some revenue somewhere, and I will try to protect your revenue as much as I can.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah, Senator Allen, how much
Jerry,
of
I
that?
see your picture, your signs all over.
You got it. I'll be with you.
Actually, that seat is right on the side of me.
All right, okay. Yeah, I've been there before, you know, so. How much of that tax credit is Lafourche Parish?
Of the I think it's 60 to 65%.
65%.
That comes to Lafourche
Parish, right.
Last year, and look, and I'm going by memory, 55 million, the credit cost the state $55 million. And I think 60 or 65% of that went directly to Lafourche Parish.
Right.
And the rest was spread out amongst Plaquemine and St. Mary and Terrebonne and all the rest of them.
Out of the other, well, Lafourche Parish, in this bill, Lafourche Parish would be the backbone of the other parishes.
Correct.
We wouldn't be fighting between city Daniels, we have to fight other parishes. Is there any way possible that you can amend your bill and isolate Lafourche Parish?
I would be willing to have the discussion.
Okay.
More than willing to have the discussion about how that goes forward.
Will you willing to meet
but-
with our assessor?
Huh?
Were you willing to meet with our assessor,
I
Ms.
have
Wendy?
met with your assessor many, many times.
All right.
We had a task force to discuss the credits and the inventory tax and all of that, and she was there every time. I know her on a first-name basis and have met her many times, and we've had many discussions. This particular credit's a very hard thing to replace. And we kind of left it alone and decided to work on the inventory tax credits instead, which we have not come to any resolution. But we're working on all that. But yes, I'm willing to talk to your assessor. I have an open invitation. In fact, I told one of my colleagues, Senator Carter, that I would be more than willing between now. My bill got out of committee and it's going to the floor. Between here and the floor, I would be more than happy to have those type of discussions.
Okay, good, thank you.
Not a problem. I really need to get back to Baton Rouge, so if there are no further questions.
One quick point, if I may. Just to, Constitutional Convention. Have you ever considered doing it? I think it's the only way to get the state out of the bind we in today.
I'm very much in favor of it. The problem is no standing governor. A lot of the power vested in the Constitution is vested in the governor. A lot of his power is in there. There's never been a willingness for any standing governor to allow a constitutional convention to go on while he's in power or he has a chance for reelection. So it's been beat down every time. Now, Representative Abramson, who chairs Ways and Means, is pushing for that. I do support his bill, and we'll vote for his bill to call a constitutional convention about the fiscal matters of the state. And I think a lot of things need to be unwound that are embedded and have been embedded for a long time where we could do things a lot better. There's a lot of dedicated money, dedicated funds out there that probably shouldn't be dedicated. A lot of it's embedded in the Constitution that's very hard to get rid of. It takes 2/3 vote of both houses and then a vote of the people to make any amendment to the Constitution,
Right.
as you well know. So I think the only answer in the future is to have a constitutional convention. But I'm telling you right now, I've talked to the governor on this before, and he's very much opposed to that.
All right. One quick thing, and it was brought up in your committee hearing, and I don't know if everybody, I watched it on the archives. And
How'd you like the ending?
Well, they cut you off. You didn't get to speak at the end on the archives. I don't know if you've seen that. You didn't get to speak. So, and I would love to hear what you had to say. And one thing that concerns me, and they brought it up, and I just want to make the council and everybody else aware, is that a boat can come to Lafourche Parish and use our services for 364 days out of the year. And on January 1st, they can go next door if you negotiate a better price, and they can go over there and pay the taxes in your parish, and then come back an hour later, and 364 days, they're going to use my police force, the policemen in the back, they can use my firemen, they can use my ambulance district, they're going to use everything we have in our parish, 364 days out of the year, and they can go to another parish. That's the only thing that really concerns me. So just please can think about that.
That knife cuts both ways, because they can be in Lafourche Parish at midnight at that time and go work in
Right,
another
but most of them
parish.
stay in Lafourche Parish, and y'all know that.
Yeah,
But they're not doing it.
they can also do the other thing, go work at another parish in another port for 11 months out the year, but be here on January 1st, and they get taxed by Lafourche Parish for the entire amount of the boat.
Right.
Not the portion that they spent here or spent there, so.
I agree, but we all agree that most of the boats in Lafourche Parish, most of the work's out of Fouchon, so it's a hurting on us. And I just hope you consider that when you think about it, and have a safe trip back to Baton Rouge.
We have got to try to protect the fiscal health of our citizens. I hope you
I
understand
appreciate that. I'm here to ask for the courtesy of being able to speak when you take up one of my bills. And we'll be happy to become president when that happens.
I'm going to make this as quick as possible because you brought up cutting to Nicholls State University, and I'm going to say this more of the thing. LSU Eunice is never on the chopping block, but it's about 30 minutes from University of Louisiana Lafayette. Tech, Grambling, and LSU Shreveport are all within a 45-minute drive. Nicholls is the only school of culinary arts, and it always seems to be on a chopping block. And I want to make it clear that I'm a graduate of Tulane University, Thomas Jefferson School of Law, and I attended grad school at Trinity University in San Antonio and Westminster in Missouri. So I'm not even an alum. And I just wish you guys would stop talking about cutting Nicholls. Everybody wants to talk about it right away.
I only mentioned it because it's parochial, but the cuts will be made across the board to all universities. Listen, I've made the argument before many times that we should draw a circle around each university, and those that don't are not within 30 minutes of each other should be propped up, and those that touch each other, like Tech and Northeastern and all of those, we really should take a hard look at them. The problem is, every time a senator or somebody got enough political power, they kept making 2 years into 4 years. And we have so many of them that touch each other, like you just mentioned. But everybody tries to protect their turf up there. You know it.
That's what we're doing.
And I appreciate it, and that's what politics is supposed to be about. But it's very difficult. And we've been very frustrated with the Board of Regents and the Board of Supervisors, because every time cuts are made that have to be made, they seem to want to lower the water table on all the boats together, no pun intended, on the funding of everybody at the same rate. And what we really should be doing is start picking those to support and keep healthy, and those that we need to start whittling down a little bit. But the Board of Regents has refused to do that, and we have asked them at the table many times to do just that, give us a plan, and they never do. It may end up being thrust upon them. But it's not only that, when you talk about higher education, we're not only talking about that, we're talking about Fletcher and the community colleges and Young Memorial in Morgan City. And I mean, these are places that kids go to be able to get jobs. So, I mean, it's going to be some very difficult decisions.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Thank you.
Ladies.
Thank you, Senator. We have another member.
Mr. Burnell Talbert, if you'd approach the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record. Mr. Talbert, please remember you have 3 minutes.
Who's these goons?
My name is Burnell Talbot. I'm president of the Lafourche Parish Branch NAACP. I'm here tonight. I'm not just speaking for myself. Jerome Balkins is not here. He's the president of the Terrebonne Parish NAACP. I'm here tonight to talk about. Oh, it's in the bottom. To talk about some of the comments that was made in the newspaper on April the 1st between myself and Mr. Perilou. For a while, the NAACP has been getting calls and about hateful, divisive, racist social media posting that Corey Perilou has been spreading around on social media. All we had was talk. But now we have a packet that was sent to our P.O. box, the NAACP P.O. box, as proof. And so, you know, with talk, we couldn't just say anything, because talk is talk until we got the proof. Also, since the package, we got a letter in our P.O. box from someone who wished not to be recognized because of fear of retaliation, asking that we investigate Corey Perilou's actions as a councilman concerning his social media posts. I got the letter here. Let me read from the letter. Public officials should be held to a higher standard. How can he, Mr. Perilou, represent all his constituents with his views? His posts and comments he allowed to stay on his page are racist, divisive, and hateful towards specific group of people. I respectfully ask that the NAACP investigate to see if they constitute malfeasance in office or any crime or an ethics violation. Now, some of the things on Mr. Perilou's Facebook page are very, very disgusting. Let me read some of them to you. He says that if New Orleans don't want the Robert E. Lee statue, it will look great at the Lafourche Visiting Center. He called protesters at anti-police rallies idiots. He says that every time these idiots have those anti-police rallies, off-duty police officers from other states need to come in and beat the SHIT out of them. I think they would eventually stop. He also jokes about a black man killed for breaking into someone's home. He even makes fun of the guy's family. Now, I do believe that if you break into somebody's home, I don't care who you are, you need to be punished. But my problem is, where's the joke when someone is killed? Is it because it's a black man? What's funny about it? He also talked about somebody needs to be bitch slapped. Why? I mean, that's violence to me. Now, he stated, this is what was stated in the Saturday paper, that he posts things that he finds to be amusing and there's no racial intent. We find a lot of racial intent to his posts, not just us, many other people. Also, since the April 1st newspaper article, I received a copy of one of his most recent posts where he's bragging and boasting about all the people that's been coming to his house asking for autographs, applauding him for his racist views. All of these things draw a clear picture of who he really is and what he's really about, and maybe why he ran for this District 6 seat. I believe you have a hidden agenda that's not hidden anymore, and it's a shame and it's a disgrace for Lafourche Parish to have representatives that's trying to divide and not unify. I think it's a disgrace. Let me mention something else that's in the Saturday April 1st newspaper. He stated that the NAACP provided posts are meant to embarrass and get back at him for accusing the parish president of using the N-word. That's not true. Which one of the councilmen made a complaint to the NAACP that ever happened? We didn't know anything about that. Jerome Barkins never got a complaint. I never got a complaint. And if we would have got a complaint, we would have been here. I got a councilman that lived right down the street from me. He never mentioned anything about it. So where did that come from? That's an outright lie. So, you know, I'm just trying to figure this out. Where did this come from? The NAACP is not, he said we were trying to shame him. We're not trying to shame anybody. We didn't go look for this, this came to us. So why would we try to shame?
All right, you've had about 20 minutes.
Somebody?
Anybody else want to give him some more time? I gave him about 9 extra minutes. All right, sir, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So does other gentlemen get almost an hour and I just get 3 minutes?
Yeah, he was a Louisiana State Senator.
You agree with that, Jerry?
Well, there's two sides to every story, and I say that once, and I'm saying it again.
Well,
There's two sides.
I mean,
I can give you another, if you want to relinquish, I can relinquish you more time.
Yeah,
but
give me
there's
more
two
time.
sides to every story.
I'm almost done. Be fair.
All right, Mr. Jones, relinquish 3 more minutes to you.
You know, you said that I could have contacted you if I had concerns of your character or your ability or willingness to represent the people of District 6 equally. But instead, I went straight to the paper. I I didn't think I need to talk to anybody after reading what I read on your social media page. I think I knew enough. But if you would have called me, I would have talked to you. I mean, I wouldn't mind talking to you, but I wasn't gonna call you. So, you know, I just want to say that for a man that has the second largest population of African American in your district, I think it's a shame and it's a disgrace for some of the things that been said and been put on Facebook about Muslim, Mexicans, African Americans. I can't see that as being a leader that's trying to unify. That's more or less dividing. I think the parish should be, Lafourche Parish should be as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead, Mr. Bourgeois.
Ms. Talbot, I thank you for coming, and I've actually been kind of indirectly I don't want to say a victim or whatever, but he's done jokes about my district, my constituents on Facebook and all of that. But I can sincerely say that Mr. Perilou and Mr. Ote and I, we've been in the military, and there's no way you can survive 3 years, much less 10 years in the military. Not for 1 minute would I ever think there's one racist bone in Mr. Perilou's body. And I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with you, and there's a lot of things I disagree with Mr. Perilou about. But I'm going to say I do not believe there's a racist bone in his body, and that's from knowing him.
Well, I don't see nothing amusing about some of the stuff he's got on his social media page. I mean, you know, I think it's a slap in the face, really, to the black community. To any community that doesn't look like him, from what I could see from what I'm reading. And this is not just my views. This is not just me. You know, I just don't, I mean, I can't see that as being a man that want to bring everybody together.
What is the mission of the Lafourche Parish NAACP?
Yeah, and if you want the...
I just want to know what you do on a daily basis to advance the lives of colored people.
What I do? I read the newspaper. Look on my, look in the, on social media. Look online.
See those deputies back there? We've had at least 2. We're planning a 3rd community event in Raceland to address some of the crime and the blighted property in Raceland, which is my district, which is primarily African American.
I know that.
I haven't seen you at neither one.
You don't have to. I haven't seen you at anything that we do.
No, because I stay in my district and I advance equally every individual. You know what? You think I have a racist dial on my phone when the phone rings? I'm not answering that because it's a black caller.
Well, let me just mention this to you. You know, actions speak louder than words. The stuff you put on social media is not...
We might have different tastes in things, you know what? And that's all right, because I have a First Amendment right to post what I want. Hey, I can talk now, sir. I gave you all the time in the world. I'm just letting you know that I have a First Amendment right. If I think something's funny, if I don't like Obama, I can say I think he sucks.
I didn't mention Obama.
Yeah, you did in the paper.
Well, I mean, I didn't mention Obama. I'm talking about the stuff that I'm reading about what you're saying about the black community, African Americans, the stuff you're saying about this statue is dividing New Orleans. So why would you want to bring this Robert Lee here to Lafourche?
Because my family comes from Leeville.
Say that again?
My family comes from Leeville.
Well,
so I thought it was fitting to bring that statue to Leeville. You know, it's all in,
well, I mean,
in humor, man.
I don't know nothing about Leesville. I read about what you said about Lafourche, the business.
Yeah.
You know, if you want the statue, why don't you just bring it to your house?
I think they're locking it up somewhere. Anyway, thank you for your time. You're more than welcome to come speak anytime.
You got, Mr. Chairman, we have a few people.
Mr. O-Town.
Yeah, I just, you know, it's a little upsetting to see someone of an organization come up and do a personal attack like that. I think it's sad. I personally have never met Mr. Talbot. Would be glad to meet with him. I've been a community activist for 25 years in the area, and I have never met you, sir. You've never participated in anything in our area. I can tell you that, Central Lafourche, Lockport, Rita community, that I'm fighting for water lines. I've never met you. So I think that's unfortunate. I hope there is no hidden agenda. And I certainly hope you're not being funded by anyone that's trying to attack Mr. Corey. Because we should open dialogue. We shouldn't be running to the paper. I wish there would have been open dialogue instead of just an attack on character. I mean, I think that's how most of us see this. It's just a quick attack on character without getting to know somebody. He's a fellow veteran. I know what he went through. I know people he's close to. And I think that's sad that you would just come up here and attack his character like that in front of everyone.
Well,
Let's open dialogue instead. Let's see what we can get accomplished.
It's not an attack on his character.
I disagree.
What he put in the
That's
paper.
a difference of opinion.
I'm responding to what he put in the paper.
And that's
the
a difference
stuff
of
that he
opinion.
said about the NAACP that we defended the past
From Terrebonne Parish, and that was encouraged through some funding and some finances. So everybody knows the hidden backdrop on all of this. My point is, instead of attacking character, how about we open dialogue? How about you get in our area and start helping us out?
Well, I tell you what, the NAACP, as of 2016, have given out over $60,000 in scholarships to kids from all 4 of the high schools, college-bound graduates from all 4 of the high schools in Lafourche Parish.
That's great.
Thibodeau High, E.D. White High, Central Lafourche High, and South Lafourche High. If you go online, you might look up the Lafourche Parish NAACP.
I think that's great.
You'll see the things that we do.
We need help in the community itself, not just a few people getting some scholarships.
We do help. We do a lot in the community. Go online and see.
This is the dialogue we should be opening up. That's what I'm saying. Instead of attacking character, let's open up dialogue.
As of this year, I personally have brought in 13 fugitives that was wanted by law enforcement. 1 white, 1 female, the rest African-American males, young men, that was afraid to go in, afraid of being abused or beat. We help people get jobs. The Lafourche Parish NAACP, we help people that feel they have been treated unfairly on jobs. We've helped people get severance packages that was fired unfairly on jobs. There's many things. Just go on the Lafourche Parish NAACP online and see the things that we're doing. I mean, I'm not the type of person that broadcasts everything we do in the paper. But if you want to see, go on the Lafourche Parish NAACP.
That was the impression we got. That was the impression I got. I'm not going to lie to you. We have difference of opinions, no doubt. But I can tell you that I need help in some areas. Mr. Jerry knows that. He's been assisting me on one of them. I need help, and I've been a 25 years activist. I'm in that Rita community. I've never once met you. And I hope that's just because we missed each other. I hope you are doing things in the Lockport community.
I never once met you either. I never once met you either.
My point, and I live and breathe in that
But I can bet you $1. He could tell you if he wanted. We are doing things in Lafourche Parish.
South of Thibodeau.
Positive things in Lafourche Parish.
Okay, good.
Very positive.
Let's keep dialogue engaged like this. Let's keep that dialogue going.
We will, but my job also as the NAACP president is to make the public aware of these kind of things that this guy had been putting on social media.
And that's a difference of opinion that you have.
Well, I mean, that's my job. That's what I got to do. If I don't do that, I probably won't be able to be in this position anymore. So that's what I got to do. I got to make the public aware of what's going on, especially when it comes to racism. I didn't. This is not something I asked to do. This is not something that I went and looked for. This is something that came to me. And when it comes to me, racism,
Mr. LaFont.
I gotta address it.
I just want to make the point that there's a fine line between racism and him being against liberals.
Him being
against liberalism. I think he's more conservative, and what he put on, I read his comments, I thought he was against liberals. And I see the point.
So would any of y'all want the Robert E. Lee statue in Lafourche Parish?
Robert E. Lee statue is history. None of us were living when any of that took place. Robert Lee is history. You go to all the countries. You ever been to London? You ever been to Rome? You ever been to any other place? You ever been all over? It's history. We don't wipe out history.
All history is not good history. It is history.
It's not all good history, but it's a learning point. Look, I'm going to tell you, I'm probably one of the most forgiving people you ever gonna meet in your life. My father was murdered. You know what? I went and hugged the man 3 weeks ago that's dying on his deathbed and told him I forgave him again. I gotta forgive. This country gotta forgive.
Exactly. You're right. You're right.
And I don't think his points were being racist. I think his points were being against liberals. I'm very conservative.
Yeah, that's a difference of opinion.
Well, I'm just saying, but you know, years ago, and I don't want to bring the man up again, but a councilman sitting in one of these seats right here made a comment against another race. I didn't see you here. After that, I didn't see you here. And I think the man.
Well, you won't see me here unless I know about it. If it's something that
it was all over the paper.
That somebody.
It was on national news. It was bigger than this.
I can't go by what I got to have somebody make a complaint to the NAACP. That's how it goes.
I got you.
Ms. Esposito.
Well, really quickly, thank you for coming. I've been working with these council members for quite a while, and I know Mr. Perillo as well. I didn't ever see a packet. I know just what I read in the newspaper, just like mostly everyone else. And I can see how that can be misconstrued as something other than racism. And maybe I can see that because I know Mr. Perillo, and I know his character. And we've talked about friends and experiences, and he has never seemed racist at all to me in any way, shape, or form. And you can't hide that over a long period of time, over a long relationship with someone. That always comes out. And so I'm just speaking, I guess, up for someone else on the council that, and for the people that are watching maybe and that will read about this tomorrow, I honestly believe he represents everyone in his district in the same manner. And I know where his heart is at. And I know how hard he works to do a good job in his district. And I know how much this is upsetting him because whatever happened or whatever was read, I know that it was not his intention to come across as racist or to be misunderstood as racist. And I believe with all my heart that he is not.
Thank you, Ms. Esposito. Mr. Jones.
Yeah, but now, I'd like to sit down and talk with you one-on-one, because there has been more racism in this parish through this administration than what you have in your hand.
Yeah,
that's two sides to every story.
We you know, the stuff about parish president using the N-word, that was new to me. And for him to use that to say we was defending the parish president, that's just not true. Where this came from? I mean,
it came from conversations I had with the man, but I wasn't going to run to you to. I talked to him about it. I told him I didn't appreciate it, and he promised me he wouldn't use it again.
Okay, but how we got connected to that? Why did?
Because I feel like it was retaliation against me for saying that.
But where did you get this from that I knew about this? I never knew nothing. Jerome Barkins never knew nothing about this either.
Well,
I mean, he's pretty upset for that. You know, you saying it the way you said it, that we were trying to shame you and get back at you. No, we wasn't trying to shame. You know, I think you shamed yourself when you said you changed from your Facebook page from public to private. Why would you do that if it was nothing wrong? I mean, I just can't understand that.
Send me a friend request. I'll accept you.
Mr. Chairman, I think I got the floor.
Go ahead.
Getting back, but now I would like to meet with you, because as I said before, there has been more racism in this parish, through this administration, than you can ever believe.
But Jerry, you live right down the street from me. You never told me
if
anything.
you want to, if it's not, they'll probably get fired if they talk to you. They got a list of employees that can talk to you, Burnell. And I'm telling you straight, they've been called everything under the sun.
I understand that, but
I would like
Jerry, that doesn't excuse the stuff that we've been reading.
But there's two sides to every story, Burnell. I know exactly where that came from, what you got. I know exactly where it came from.
Well, let me know when you're ready to talk.
All right.
Real quick.
We have another question or comment. Go ahead.
Just real quick, I wanted to thank you for coming. I believe everybody has a right to come and tell us, you know, anything from taxes to race to whatever, water drainage. I have nieces and nephews that are of African-American heritage on both sides of my family, my wife and mine. And I was giving one a bottle the other day, a little baby girl. I have neighbors in my neighborhood who were friends with my kids when they were growing up, and we'd go fishing. I have pictures in my hallway to show the kids. I'm in my boat taking fish and having a great time. I know some things are said or meant or different ways, but I'm just saying I don't think he meant anything or like the rest is saying. I mean, I have people in my family who have African American blood, you know. So anyway, for what it's worth, I hope it helps ease the situation. So
Appreciate it, Bo. Yeah, I stand behind my quote from the paper article when I said, none of those posts that I made were intentional racist quotes. I just basically shared things that I thought was amusing or something, not because I believe this or I believe that about this group of people or that group of people.
Yeah, but is it, I mean, you said officers come in from out of town and beat the shit out of protesters.
That was in response to something I saw on the news. I can't even remember.
Well, most of your protesters lately has been about young black men being killed by police officers, unarmed.
Did I label protesters? No, I said protesters. I didn't say black protesters, purple protesters.
No, you didn't say black. I mean, you scraped the surface with a lot of what you said, but I mean, ain't nobody stupid, man. You can fool some people.
So you're interpreting what you want to make yourself legitimate tonight. So whatever you're interpreting what I said, not based on what I said it, but how you think I meant it.
Chairman, point of order, please. Let's move on.
All right, we're done. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. All right, can we get a motion to open public hearing on ordinances and ratification? Moved by Mr. Bourgeois, second by Mr. Melvin. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, 1. 7011.
7022. Oh, he's out the room. 7011.
All right.
And the one absent is Michael Grove. Out of the room is Jerry Lafourche.
Yes, ma'am. So, Mr. Lorraine, we move.
No, defer it.
Deferring it?
For another 2 weeks. We'll get an answer. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get an answer sooner than
What's the
later.
date?
It's getting close. The next council meeting is May
May 9th is
9th?
25th?
And it's the 25th is the next one.
Okay,
May
thank you.
25th.
May 25th.
All right, number 9, ordinance prohibiting the use of the Lafourche Parish logo from businesses and organizations who are not sponsored by or who have not entered into an agreement to use such logo. Somebody move.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion?
You have an amendment on that, Corey?
Oh, yes.
So I'll move on the amendment.
Okay. Adding the following in the caption in section 1 as follows. Proposed ordinance prohibiting the use of Lafourche Parish logos or any other official identifying marks of the Lafourche Parish government from businesses or organizations who are not sponsored by or who have not entered into an agreement to use such logo as established by resolution of the Lafourche Parish Council. Penalties for unauthorized use shall be in accordance with the Lafourche Parish Code of Ordinance, Chapter 1, Section 1-21.
I'll move on the amendment.
Mr. Lorraine moves on the amendment. Mr. Melvin seconds the amendment. So we'll vote on the amendment first. Oh, any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times? Being none from the council? Mr. Bourgeois?
Yeah, I had a little contact with the sheriff's office about it, who would be the enforcement agency of that. And it's my understanding, I mean, it wasn't the exact words of it, but enforcement of it would be quite arduous for the sheriff's office to enforce doing this. And then secondly, I want to say that I have a concern with different organizations like SLEC, South Louisiana Economic Council or whatever, and these other private entities that versus 5Ks and different things where we agree. I think that we need to more have it for like a for-profit business as opposed to just businesses or entities in all of that, because I think we're opening a can of worms with a lot of our partners and secular, non-secular activities and different pursuits, what have you. If we just use kind of like that,
I agree with that.
so.
You can amend it.
Yeah, let's amend it right now.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Before you amend it, I don't necessarily think every 501c3, which is a nonprofit organization, should be able to use it, have carte blanche in using it either, though. You know, I think, you know, local government entities, whether that be the sheriff's office, city of Thibodeau, should be automatically approved to use it. But there are, you know, even some of the runs are nonprofit, but they are, I don't know that we would want our name on all of that either.
Oh, I agree with it, and like I said, I mean, I'm just wanting to know if we can delay it a little bit for those questions, because I just got some of this stuff thrown at me kind of today by some constituents, and I apologize. I just see if you'd be willing to.
I'll defer it for another couple of weeks.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Pull it, okay, and Mr. Melvin, you pull your second? Okay, we'll defer it till, May.
And Mr. Chairman, we need to.
So we're pulling the amendment, and then we're gonna pull the original ordinance. Who gave the motion? Same two? Yeah, all right, so we're gonna defer this thing until,
And Mr. Chairman, may I say that the second meeting in May is May 23rd, not the 25th.
okay, we're gonna defer it till May 23rd. That'll work.
Thing with number 8, please.
Yes, both. All right, number 10, ordinance authorizing Lafourche Parish government to purchase the properties located at 106 Mercer Road and Delta Farm Road boat launch in La Rose from Geneva Marie Guidry Mercer in the total amount of $310,000, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer a purchase agreement, act of sale, and any and all relevant documents necessary to acquire said property. Moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Bourgeois.
Before, oh, go ahead. I'll discuss it after.
Any comments from the public? One time, two times, three times, being none, Mr. Lafont.
We might have to pull it, and Paul and I were discussing, where we run into a challenge here is, and I know the Mercers are in a hurry to sell the property, and I wish we could do it today. However, the Port Commission has the right-of-way exactly where the boat launch is. And until we get an agreement, I don't feel comfortable purchasing the property. And they already talked to Paul, and I think it's gonna happen. Because Paul went to talk to them, and they said, but they have to wait till their next meeting to vote on it. I mean, not Port Commission, I'm sorry, South Lafourche Levy District.
So you wanna defer it?
Paul, do you think we need to defer it, or can we, do y'all think we can vote on it until, say something, and if the agreement don't go through unless we get the thing? But we still gonna have to vote on their agreement also.
We need to defer that.
And look, if we gotta have a special meeting, once they approve it, I don't mind.
Well, listen, you gonna defer it?
Yeah, let's defer it. I feel more comfortable.
Who made the second? Okay, Bourgeois and Lafont, y'all both pull it.
Deferred until.
When you wanna defer it, May 23rd?
When, Paul, when's their next meeting?
Their meeting is May 10th, so it's the day after our next meeting.
The day
So May 23rd.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, number 11, ordinance establishing 2 3-way stop signs on Waverly Road at Bentley Drive, northbound and southbound lanes, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 1, District 2, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary 3-way stop signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Mr. Sposito, second by Mr. Jones. Any comments from the public? One time, two times, three times, being none from the council? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-0-1. Number 13, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-008 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget and capital budget to deobligate funding for the Rita Bridge BR 009. Wait a minute, this one's supposed to be deferred. Jeez. Actually, I was reading the one that we have to defer anyway. Number 12, ordinance establishing, I guess I got a little shook up tonight. Ordinance establishing no littering in or around the 40 Orphan Canal with signs to be placed on both sides of the road 50 feet in front of the private bridge at the end of Supercharger Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 3, District 4, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of no loitering in and around the 40 Orphan Canal signs to be placed on both sides of the road 50 feet in front of the private bridge at the end of Supercharger Drive and providing penalties for violations thereof. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any comment from the public? One time, two times, three times, being none. Any comment from the council on this? Mr. Lafont?
Bo, is that the bridge we talked about? The parish owns the road up to the bridge?
Yes. And the owner of the property behind the bridge said that folks, he doesn't mind them coming dump crawfish, fish, shrimp into the canal, in the drainage canal, in the 40. He just doesn't want them dumping plastic. He said he knows it's getting worse, so he doesn't mind them dumping the seafood. He just doesn't want them dumping stuff that's gonna clog up the pump, which is 25 yards away.
All right, any other comments? None? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-0-1. And number 13, is somebody gonna pull this for Mr. Grow? You, or defer it?
I'll defer, I'm sorry, defer to the next meeting.
Okay. May 9th. So item number 13 is deferred till May 9th. Number 14, ordinance approving an act of donation between Lafourche Parish Government and Lafourche Ambulance District 1 for the donation of one 2010 Chevrolet Express Cutaway 3500 ambulance, VIN number 1GB6GB2B66 Alpha 1123840, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mr. Lafont. Any comments from the public? One time, two times, three times? Being none from the council, move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-0-1. Number 15, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-007 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget and capital budget to cover the additional cost of amendment number 2 to complete the appeal process of DFIRM with CB&I Shaw in the amount of $74,093.21, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any comments from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council, being none, move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-0-1. Number 16, ordinance amending ordinance number 5877 that amended ordinance number 5833, which adopted the 2017 operations and capital budget for the Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting the salaries of unclassified employees as provided for by Article 5 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Otam. Any comment from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none, comments from Mr. Lafont.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of our employees are due raises. We have 500-something employees. And I think that the gentleman that we're speaking about tonight was probably promised a salary at the beginning from the parish administrator. However, things have changed in the last year and a half. We haven't given a raise to any of our other parish employees. Times are tough. There's talk of going at 3/10 sales tax on the public to support solid waste. And look, I wish I could give everybody a raise right now. But you know, times are tough, and I just don't think it's the time to give raises. I think the people, everybody's worth it. We got some great employees with the parish. Look, when this gentleman was promised the raise, I was making a lot more money than I am today. As a matter of fact, I had a different job. I lost my job because of the economy. I wish I can get my job back, but the economy is still tough. So I can't support anybody raise. They can be superheroes right now. People are not giving out raises. Lafourche Parish is in a time right now when you can't find employees giving raises in Lafourche Parish. Nowhere. Matter of fact, we got companies still closing down in Lafourche Parish. And look, I know it's a hard time, and I hate to not give people raises, but I can't support it.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, I also feel like Mr. LaFont. But on last meeting, I did ask about the raise was promised to our Public Works Director as of March 1st. It was supposed to be, and it was in the meeting with 3 councilmen, if we remember right. That hadn't came forward yet, but I did get a lot of calls from people that work with the parish looking for a raise also. So at this time, we not in a situation of giving too much raises, because every time they ask the parish president, he says there's no money. So isolating and separating individual employees, that's not good for this parish. So at this time, I cannot support this.
Mr. Otan?
Yeah, I'm going to be in support of this. I would hate to see us lose another department head. And I know for me, speaking from my constituency, it's been a blessing to work with this individual. And I really would hate to see him move on. However, I do agree with Mr. Jones that I would like to see our DPW director also put up, because I think he does an outstanding job. And I know there's a couple of councilmen that disagree with that, perhaps. But so hopefully, I hope to see that in the near future as well.
Mr. Bourgeois?
If I'm not mistaken, I think civil service gives raises and the council doesn't get notified. So for us to say that no raises are given to anybody, I don't know if that's exactly correct.
Mr. Melvin?
I don't believe that we've given any COLA raises to the parish recently, have we? Have we, Mr. Email? I mean, I know you've just been here, but
Yeah, not in 2017, I believe. And again, I wasn't here, but I think it was January 2016.
Okay. Yeah.
But not positive, 15 or 16, but yeah, definitely not. It was
Yeah,
16? Yeah, it was 16, yeah.
Okay.
January 16.
Thank you.
Mr. LaFont?
James, Mr. Bourgeois, I don't think the Civil Service Board can give raises. I think they can recommend that a certain pay scale be rose, but they can't give raises. The parish president has to give raises. They can only recommend that position be paid more, but they can't give a raise.
All right. We'll move this thing to a vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Nays, raise your hand. Pass 4-4.
But let me get the nays.
Nays, raise your hand, please. Yeah. All right. Can we get a motion to close public hearing? Moved by Mr. Bourgeois, second by Ms. Esposito. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Moving on to Section L. Mrs. Vice Chair.
Number 17, proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 5884, which was ratified by Lafourche Parish Council at the April 11, 2017 Lafourche Parish Council meeting, which provided a variance from the Lafourche Parish Subdivision Regulation, Chapter 22, Article 6, Division 5, Fire Hydrants, Section 22-482, 2, from the installation of a fire hydrant in the redivision of Lot 2-A into Lots 2-A-1A and 2-A-1B on the property of Shane Duplantis, is recommended by the Lafourche Parish Planning Commission at the February 23, 2017 meeting, moved by Councilman Lafont. Number 18, proposed ordinance establishing a no parking fire lane on both sides of the street in the 2500 block of West Camellia Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 1, District 1, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing necessary no parking fire lane signs and providing penalties for the violation thereof. Moved by Councilman Jones.
All right, moving on to Section M, resolutions. Number 19, resolution approving the purchase of one John Deere 6155M cab tractor for the, you pulling it? Defer until May 23rd.
19 and 20, right?
Okay, 19 and 20 defer till May 23rd. Number 21,
On it.
you pulling 21?
Yeah, it's already happening.
Okay. Number 22, resolution requesting Lafourche Parish District Attorney to advise as to the penalty and the procedure to impose the penalty on Parish President James B. Cantrell for being in noncompliance of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter as it pertains to Section 3C5, appointment of department heads and the administrator. And whereas a nomination for the Human Resources Department head was submitted beyond the 60 days after the date on which the vacancy occurred. Moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 23, resolution to form a committee to interview applicants for the appointment of the Lafourche Parish Registrar of Voters. Can someone move for me? Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Melvin. Any discussion? Mr. Bourgeois?
Oh, public first, or?
No, this is resolutions.
Oh, that's true, I'm sorry. I just have a curious question on, I mean, you say a committee, is that a committee of just council people, or is that a committee that includes people outside of the council? I was just looking for the consist of the committee.
Basically, my knowledge of this is that it would be a committee of at least 4 council members, because 5 would be a quorum, and to conduct interviews for this position. It would also entail going through applications to narrow it down to the highest qualified applicants. If there's 500 applicants, well, okay, if there's 50 applicants, you're not going to interview 50 people, I would hope. You know, there has to be a committee that can determine who's the best qualified candidates. Mr.
I'm good with that, I was just curious if
The only challenge I have, and look, I think we need to have a committee, but there's 9 councilmen, and I just think that everybody should have the opportunity to speak if they're not in the committee or whatever, because I like to hear, if I'm not on the committee, or Bourgeois not, or Lorraine, or Ms. Posito, I'd like to know what their opinion is also on that, because it does say, the rules does say the council hires.
But all the council members will have to have the resumes.
Right.
You know, that way you can do your diligent research on the applicants.
Right.
From there, we're gonna have to have a committee to pare it down for interviewing.
Well, the thing too is, you might have 4 people that might not know some of the other applicants, so I think the information from other councilmen should be considered in that also.
I totally agree with that. That way, after the packets are distributed to the, and this is just my thought process on it, after the applications are distributed throughout all 9 members of the council, then, we can all go through and say who we think is best qualified for that position.
Right.
And then if there's a consensus of the top 10 or something, take it from there and start interviewing the top 10.
That's fine, yeah, because we gotta be very, very cautious on, because this position's almost a lifetime position.
It actually
I honestly wish the legislation would put something in legislation to make an elected official. But that's not happening right now, but maybe in a couple of years when there's gonna be 74 new representatives, they might do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think all the council members need to have strong input on this. That way it's not just a committee of 4 making all the decisions.
Right. Okay.
So is there, I did receive confirmation from Ms. Sposito, from Mr. Jones, and who else volunteered for the committee?
I'll sit on it.
Okay, that's three. Would you like to be on it too? Okay, so that's 4. Mr. Melvin. And that works out great because we have representation from all parts of the parish.
I think y'all middle parish is kind of missing.
No, I'm not going to be on it. But I do believe that once this process, as far as accepting application closes, we're going to have to make copies of those packets and distribute it to all 9 council members. And
The statute says that you shall interview each qualified candidate.
right, so we have to determine who's qualified based on the standards.
And y'all have 1 day to weed through that and 2 days to.
What is the day that we have to weed through all the applicants? May 2nd, gentlemen and lady. May 2nd is the day that we have to be prepared to put some time in and be diligent in looking through these application packets and you know, make your notes and stuff like that. And
I don't mind sitting there. I don't mind even having to do them on the weekends.
yeah, but we're on a timeline.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't mind having to do it on the weekend.
When does it close? May 1st is the closing date.
Yeah.
For applications. So May 2nd would be the date that everyone would receive a copy of all the applications, and go through the process of going through the applications and determining who you feel is the best qualified candidates based on the requirements.
Right.
And the committee of 4 would have to conduct the interviews on the 3rd and the 4th, which is what, Wednesday and Thursday?
Wednesday and Thursday.
So if you're,
To be on the May 9th meeting.
right, and that way we'd be able to put a candidate up or do what we need to do to hire somebody on May 9th.
Let's vote.
Okay, so we have the committee. Ms. Carleen, you have all 4?
Yes, sir. Ms. Sposito, Mr. Jones, Mr. LaFont, and Mr. Mel.
Okay. Everyone in agreement with that? Well, we're going to vote on it now as far as those 4 individuals on the committee. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 801. Number 24, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Lafourche Ambulance District Number 1 for 2010 Chevrolet Express Cutaway 3500 van. VIN number 1 Golf Bravo 6 Golf 2 Bravo 66 Alpha 112 3840 to be used by the coroner's office to service the residents of Lafourche Parish and authorizing the Lafourche Parish President to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Oldtown, second by Mr. Bourgeois. That's one ride that I don't want to take, man. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 25, resolution in support of a 2017 Bayou Community Foundation grant application for the Books of the Future project for the Beyond the Bell program at the Reverend Lloyd Wallace Community Center, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Can someone move for me? Mr. Jones moves, and Mr. Bourgeois seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 26, resolution approving a lease agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Xerox for a multifunction copy machine, Whiskey 7970 pop-up for a finance department, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, and second by Mr. Bourgeois.
We have an amendment on that.
You do?
Yeah, it's, we have to amend it, it's a price change from $292.54 monthly to $288.02.
So it went down?
It went down a little bit.
Where is this coming from?
You got that number?
I don't know, I just.
Okay. So you moving on the amendment?
Yeah.
Second, the amendment? We're going to vote on the amendment right now. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Amendment passes 801. Now you have something on the,
Yeah, Xerox, is this from the main corporation? Where are they located? I'd like to know where this company is located.
China.
If somebody can answer that for me. This is a Lafourche Parish business? Y'all don't know?
Yeah, he's gonna.
That's It's an existing contract. It's coming up for renewal in December.
Yeah, I didn't ask if it was existing contract, I asked where the company's from.
They were just taken over. They operate out of Baton Rouge, I believe.
All right, so my next question is, why, this is all state contract stuff, state bid. The price is there. Why are we not using a Lafourche Parish company?
This was done 5 years ago. It was being renewed.
Yeah, so can we, can we maybe pull this and, I'm not gonna vote for it because there are several, copying companies in Lafourche Parish that I think we should support before we support a company out of Baton Rouge.
Jerry, I think it all depends on the model, like the type of machine they want too.
But they can get the copies, but nope, they didn't even know where the company was from. It took them a minute to see.
But Xerox is a corporation that leases equipment directly. So the nearest office might be Baton Rouge to Lafourche, but they probably can't get a Xerox any closer.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
this was done in the previous administration, and it was a company from Lafourche Parish that did it. From someone from down the bayou did two of them. Two of these big printers that they have. Well, three. I think they did the one for the council, and I think they did one for the finance, and there's another one that was upstairs that went downstairs. So the three of them all was a Lafourche company.
So this is to renew those contracts?
This one is.
What companies from Lafourche Parish? It doesn't say the company. That should read the company's name and not just Xerox. That's the product.
Yes.
If this right here says we're renting from Xerox manufacturers.
See, that's what my office does.
Yeah, but you're a federal office.
Right.
We're a parish office, and I think we ought to give the opportunity to our local businesses to bid on that. It's state contract, so the price is gonna be the price. I just like to see some some parish people, given the opportunity to price on that.
I can't disagree with that. Mr. Melvin?
I was just gonna make sure, like I'm just using Terrebonne Parish, for example, Anlin Systems, they lease and rent, Xerox. So, yeah, we all on the same page. That's what I was trying to get to.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah, I'd like to defer it then, and let's come back with the company name.
And if it's not a Lafourche Parish company, why don't we solicit Lafourche Parish company? There's several of them.
Daniel, you willing to defer this?
Sounds like it.
Okay. Mr. Bourgeois, you gonna pull your second? Good. You gonna pull it?
Yeah.
The May 9th?
Yeah.
All right. May 9th. Number 27, resolution approving the purchase of two 700-gallon trailer-mounted jet rotor culvert cleaners for the Department of Public Works and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mr. Lafont. Any discussion? Mr. Lafont?
Sorry.
Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 28, resolution approving the purchase of one Echo 50 Tango 4 Bobcat compact excavator in the amount of $56,132.40 for the Thibodeau Field Office and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. You gonna move for him? Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 29, resolution approving a contract between Lafourche Parish government owner and Picciola and Associates, Inc., engineer, for engineering services for the project entitled Golden Meadow Boat Launch Improvements, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said contract and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 30, resolution accepting the low bid of SBL Construction LLC in the amount of $16,077.06 for the project entitled Golden Meadow Boat Launch Improvements, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? I have a, well, yeah, quick question. Is this, okay, that's for the contractor, and the first one was for the engineering. Never mind. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 31, resolution accepting the low bid of Huey Stock Steel LLC in the amount of $594,646 for the project entitled Highway 308 Road and Drainage Improvements, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 32, resolution accepting the low bid of Scott Equipment Company LLC in the amount of $53,000 for the purchase of one new Superior broom to be used by the Department of Public Works, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois, second by Mr. O-Town. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 33, resolution approving a joint funding agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the U.S. Department of Interior Geological Survey, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. O-Town, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 34, resolution rescinding resolution number 17-112 that accepted the low quote of SHI International Corporation in the amount of $16,535.44 for the purchase of routers for the Lafourche Parish Library, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. O-Town, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 35, resolution approving amendment number 3 to the cooperative endeavor agreement between the Lafourche Parish Government and the State of Louisiana Facility Planning and Control for the Company Canal Pump Station, Foxtrot, Papa, and Charlie, project number 50 Juliet 2906 Bravo 01, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Can someone move for me? Moved by Mr. O-Town, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 36, resolution approving amendment number 1 to the cooperative endeavor agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the State of Louisiana Facility Planning and Control for the South Lafourche Airport Corridor Project, Foxtrot, Papa, and Charlie, project number 50 Juliet 291401, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 801. Number 37, resolution approving the low quote of Golden Ranch Aviation for annual aerial spraying, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois. Second by? Second by Mrs. Sposito. Any discussion?
I got some questions.
Mr. LaFont.
First thing that's kind of concerning is that the company that bid on it, Golden Ranch Aviation, submitted their bid on parish letterhead that says Miss Charlotte Randolph.
I saw that today.
That's a little nuts. Also has everybody in the whole council's names X'd out except Jerry Jones, Jerry LaFont, and Daniel Lorraine. Not too professional.
What's the date?
I can't read it on my copy. April 12, 2017.
So the date reflects the current quote, but the form isn't outdated.
I don't think they should be putting it on our letterhead.
They actually didn't. The request was sent to them by Public Works. The way I read it, it's, Dear Golden Ranch Aviation, dear sir, Lafourche Parish Department of Public Works is requesting. So in other words,
No,
our own Public
you're reading the
Works.
wrong page. It says, dear sir, Lafourche was requesting positive that you, then they just, you think they submitted it back?
Yeah, that's, I
Well,
mean,
that even makes it worse, and that means somebody from within our office is sending.
DPW is sending outdated documents,
yes, that's what I was trying to say.
because they just filling in the blanks
They're
with the
just filling in the
quotes.
blanks for the quotes.
Well, nobody else did it, and that's why it just seemed a little weird. Second thing I have is, there's not 3 quotes. And I know, when I was chairman and in the last 5 years, every time we met with Stagney and Company, they were pretty hammered on that. And they came back and also said that if you don't have quotes, you have to at least make attempts to find somebody to make the quote, or they're not gonna accept it. They said, we fixing to get hammered on the state on this. But what's concerning is, on some of the quotes that we got back, it says, does not do aerial spray. So, we sent a quote to somebody that doesn't do aerial spray, so I can send it to Burger King and they can send back and say, I don't do aerial spray. Are we really soliciting for 3 quotes, is the question. I got calls from somebody on this, that's why I'm bringing it up. So I think we need to look into that. Is this something that we have to sign today? 'Cause I think we need to get 3 quotes, or I think we could get ourselves in trouble.
I'm gonna disagree with you.
That's fine.
Go
if you
ahead.
disagree.
The thing of it is that it's not just aerial spraying, it's aerial spraying with a helicopter, and there's not a lot of these people in the entire country, much less Lafourche Parish, what have you. Golden Branch Aviation, they're located in Raceland in the Prairie off of Highway 653 is their heliport. They travel into Mississippi, they travel into Texas to do that because there's just not that many people. And I think if there was that much competition, that they wouldn't be traveling that far up to Tensas and different places that they go. I just happen to know them because they're operated out of my district. And I don't think there's that many helicopter sprayers in the whole country because there's not that much demand for it.
No. Hey, look, and I'm agree with you. I think they did a great job. I know that we got hammered by the legislative audit, not legislative, the internal audit the last time because we don't have three good legit quotes. I just don't want that to happen again.
Looking at that bid, it doesn't look like a very lucrative contract to begin with.
No, I know. I look, and it's not much. Well, you say it's not lucrative. It's $625 per mile.
Per mile?
Yeah. Jimmy, not lucrative. You pass an airplane flying a mile, I could cover a mile in 5 seconds, you know? I just think we need to maybe look into that before we accept this bid. And
I think it's not per mile, is it?
it is per mile. Thank you, Marie, if you got some information.
Well, dang, it's
appreciate it.
lucrative.
Hi, Marie Bluand, Administrative Assistant for Department of Public Works. I went and found the old forms of what we had from the previous administration and from the previous administrative assistant. These companies in here are the same ones that we have been using and have been trying to contact to be able to get quotes from for probably the last 5, 6 years, as long as this has been going on. The one for the Golden Ranch, I did send them a new form for them to fill out, but they did not return that because the first form that was given to them was sent by someone else prior to when I took this over. But the other companies that we had that was in there with the faxes, those were companies that we had from before that we tried to contact again. And like what Mr. Bourgeois was saying, there's very few companies in this area that does this type of work.
I understand that. I just know we got hammered last
And I
couple meetings
understand that, I
with
know
the
that,
internal auditor.
we have had that problem.
And it's becoming a troublesome for us because we having trouble on getting some bids. But the laws are the laws, and I don't think we can break them without having three quotes.
And if anybody has any information on any other companies that we can contact, I mean, I would be happy to get that information from you and contact them to see to get those quotes.
Right. You know,
And I'm gonna add,
sure
Mr.
even if we
LaFawn,
got
I'm-
somebody in Alaska that has to quote it, I think we have to get a quote. Or we have to make due of it. I don't feel confident. If y'all wanna vote on it, y'all can vote on it. I'm gonna vote no, and not that I'm against that company, but, the last 2 years, the auditor was on our case pretty bad for not having 3 quotes. And we're gonna get written up for this one too.
Well, I'm gonna add to this, Mr. LaFont. I mean, I've been a pilot for over 30 years, and I fly all the local airports, I own my own airplane. And I gotta tell you that I don't know of anybody this side of, say, Birmingham or as far out as Midland, Odessa, besides Golden Ranch, that actually offers this service. And I think we're doing a disservice to the residents to hold it up, to find something that is so specialized.
When's the contract up, Mr. Bourgeois? If
In
we
May.
holding it up?
In May.
In May. May what?
May 9.
Oh, we got a meeting May 7th.
No, it's May 9th.
May 9th.
I mean,
Well, y'all can vote on it. I'm gonna abstain from voting, because I'm not gonna vote. I'm just gonna abstain.
You gotta give a reason.
Because I don't wanna break a law.
So they companies from
Yeah,
our
they're
area?
here, and they're good. They do a good job. They
So
do a
we-
great job.
They do a good job, and they're from here. We argued a while ago, and I say argued, but we brought up, we didn't want to buy no Xerox from here. Now we're gonna go get a company from New York.
No, you have to get a price, though, it says.
It don't make
Chairman.
sense. I mean, y'all need
You have to
make
get a
up your
bid.
mind.
All right, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, and Mr. LaFont is right. I said in that auditor meeting, and he said definitely we need 3 quotes. We're gonna be rolled up, for a good bit of items here. And I have no problem with the aviation sprayer, but if you look at the different items, it says Xerox, but this item 37 is naming the company. That's the difference. But they should be on the correct letterhead and everything. So I agree with Mr. LaFont. We'll be rolled up big time for that. Because those councilmen that scratched out are no longer on this council. So it's got to be legit. The ones that scratched out, Daniel, you are not scratched out.
That means you're on the hook.
I will contact Golden Ranch again, excuse me, for them to see to update that quote on the correct letterhead.
Yeah, and Maria, nothing against you and
I
your
understand
department.
that. I
You
know.
know, we got hammered on it, and there's plenty of times we discussed with James, that James like, man, I can't get 3 quotes, I understand that, but the way what's been going on in between the district attorney telling us and our auditor, we have to have it done. Otherwise, we can get in trouble.
Again, I'll try to contact these other companies to see if I can get them to give us something formal that they cannot quote on it, and to see if there is anybody else that will quote on this.
And look, if somebody doesn't and they say they don't want to quote, we just have to document, refuse to quote or what, we have to have something on writing.
Ms. Esposito.
Yes, I'm very familiar with Golden Ranch Aviation. I was the airport manager at City of Thibodeau for a long time. I know Don Hensey. And I think they're a great company, and they do a lot of good work, and they do specialize in a lot of things that other local companies don't. But I do have a problem with going to the same people that we know can't even provide a bid. And so I know you all realize ways that we can and put that out as far as advertising, or how you can put that out for.
I think it
to get a
because it was
quote.
classified as a service, that it was not put out for a public bid. That was my understanding behind that.
Okay, I just used the wrong term then, but, yeah, I think just, we know we can't go to the same people that, it looks worse, I think, when we go to the same people that we know they can't provide, without trying to find others.
Correct.
If you find others that give you the same information that we had on this one, then fine, but we at least have to make an
And
effort.
I even tried doing on, off of the, internet to do a search for companies that would, does that service and all, and we could contact and all, and there was really nothing that I came up with.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, so,
I was gonna make an amendment, propose an amendment to it.
for what?
Just say that we accept the quote on the proper form.
Still don't, It still doesn't, account for not having 3 quotes.
Who put it up? Dan, you sponsored it for Grow, right?
Yeah.
You want to defer it? You did? You want to defer it and get it right before we vote on it? Okay. Any other comments? I see a couple of light microphones on. All right, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 yays. 1, 2, 3 nays.
Fails, but what's the, and one abstention, Mr.
Mr. Yeah.
Who's the 4 yeas?
The 4 yays are,
Right, but I mean, I need it for the record.
okay, so it failed.
Still need to know who the 4
It was Lorraine, O-Town, Bourgeois, Melvin.
So, Mr. Chairman, there's I just typed it up, the American Mosquito Control Association, Miss Marie. American Mosquito Control Association.org. Or that's the organization. I'm sure they can find mosquito sprayers. We have to get 3 bids, so.
Either that or Mr. Bourgeois could trade his plane for a helicopter and go do it for us.
Yeah, well, we have mosquitoes and vegetation spray.
No, unlike what was said though, Corey, there are a lot of companies that do that, contrary to what he said. I just Googled and right off the bat, I'm getting them. Kim Air out of Shreveport, that's all kind of people that do that.
All right, so it failed. We're gonna move right along to section N, questions for the administration. Oh, back it up. And also, I think, Daniel, you have a resolution from the floor?
I do too.
Oh, no, that was an amendment. That was earlier, yeah.
I like to bring a resolution up from the floor.
Did you write it down?
I'm gonna write it. I don't have
Okay, Mr. Bourgeois, you wrote one from the floor, right?
paper.
Resolution from the floor requesting district attorney opinion concerning rescinding ordinance number 5884 and any legal damages that the parish may incur by doing such. Refresh my memory, what is ordinance number 5884?
That's the variance on the fire hydrant on Bayou Falls for the guy to build his house.
Okay.
And
So,
since
yeah,
we've
you're
already,
asking for an
since we've
opinion.
already approved it, and I just want the district attorney to consider that once it's approved, he could have made a substantial anything based on the approval. Will we as a parish be liable for damages or anything that he's done once the ordinance was approved before we rescind it? That's all I'm asking for.
Okay. You got something, Jerry?
Oh, I gotta make my motion from the floor.
Well, we're not on that yet.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're gonna move this request for an opinion to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So, Armin. So it passes 8-1-1. No, 7-1-1.
Wait, that was on his.
On his.
I oppose that one. Oh, we're going to the district attorney. I'll let the district attorney hear it.
All righty.
Take that one. Thank you.
And when you're done, you can go ahead and read it, Jerry.
You ready for me?
Waiting on you.
My resolution is to oppose Senate Bill 179 by J.P. Morale. That's all it needs to read.
Can we get a second? Mr. O-Town
Can I get a
seconds?
unanimous second?
Yeah, unanimous second. Everybody in
Everybody
agreement?
willing for unanimous second?
All right, we got it. Unanimous second. All in favor, everybody agrees? Aye.
61.
We already voted on that one. So it passes 8-0-1.
There's one more we might have to pose if y'all bear with me. I just got a text from Baton Rouge. Let me make sure we don't have to pose that one too. That's gonna be heard this week. If y'all got a second.
From a lobbyist?
No, from, an assessor.
Mr. Chairman. I do plan on going to Baton Rouge on Monday to oppose the bill that Senator Allen was talking about.
We'll hold off on this one.
You're holding off on the 170?
No, not one, not, no.
okay.
on
Lucy
the-
has the floor.
So I do plan to go. I don't know if, I know a few of us can ride up together, or I would like anyone from the public that has any interest in this issue to also go up to Baton Rouge. I'm sure it'll be standing room only. I'm sure there'll be people pouring out into the hall, but everyone that can come, I hope, does go on Monday. The time of the committee meeting will be on the state's website.
Mr. Bourgeois? Your light is on?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so, you just need that for record keeping, right? We already voted it up?
No, you're quite welcome.
All right, section N, questions for the administration, session number 2, anyone? Being none. Section O, council reports, presentations, updates, and our questions, session 2. Being none. Section P, discussion. Being none. Section Q, adjournment. Moved by Mr. LaFont, second by Mr. Lorraine, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? Passes 8-0-1. We are adjourned. At 8:26 p.m.